The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get
He missed the complete. He's crazy
Side by side,
stuff.
Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
When the cold winds blow and winter hits hard, the snowbirds head south, and in the case of racing, we head to Florida. With the Pacific Majors expanding to 2 new clubs, the first round of the season is sure to provide some revelations and surprises. We'll see just what 2017 has in store as we get ready to watch the Snowball Derby presented by Sticker Shack, and you'll see it all live on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth tonight is Bill Soup Zahn. Acting as our resident super late model expert is GSRC's own Brian Yazik. Behind the scenes is our director Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Brian, Five Flags traditionally ends the racing year in the real world, but today we're kicking things off at the Pensacola track. Tell us about the circuit.
Well, Joe, it's a very, very unique speedway here down in the Pensacola area of Florida. Got a half-mile track. The front stretch isn't really much of a front stretch. Even though on that little track guide it looks like it is, trust me, when you get out there, it's not quite there. There's a lot of action that can happen here at the Five Flags Speedway. It's known for the racing action, but also because of the small track and a fairly narrow track by most racing standards. You can get yourself into a pileup pretty quick, though. But so I could sit here and talk about it here, but. Earlier today, I stole one of these super late models and spun a couple laps here around this little half mile, 15 degrees of banking speedway. So we're going to cut to that and just show you how to get around this little joint. Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yazik, taking you for a spin around Five Flags Speedway in the GSRC Super Late model. So here we go. Coming off a turn 4, get that thing wound up, get right up next to the wall, hard onto the brakes, let it float down here into the corner, grab the gas about halfway, then back out to the full throttle. Let it float out to the wall, right about where that Five Flags sign is on the wall. Let it float down in here into turn 3, roll the bottom, maybe diamond it, and then you're going to want to hook right there on the apron. Try to catch a little bit there, there's some grip there. Down back into turn 1, same scenario. Let it float in, come back out to the wall, aim for that first star right there on the wall, down into turn 3, find the white line right there, make sure to be careful of that apron and that wall, and across the line, and that's going to complete our track guide here around the Five Flags Speedway. I'm Brian Yazik. Enjoy the show.
Brian giving us a good idea of what it's going to take to wheel these cars around here as we watch the number 96 do a few more practice laps before we get the big race underway. Now, for those new to the Pacific Majors, they have many championships that they fight for over the course of a year. And if you are familiar, then this is no new news to you, but let's go to Bill and talk about what these guys are going to be fighting for now that everything has been reset and everybody is at 0 points once again.
Yeah, many is almost an understatement for the amount of championships that the Pacific Majors has, but they're all kind of cool and fun. So let's talk about some of the major ones here. First off, it is the Mario Andretti's Driver Championship. Now, basically, what they do is they line all the drivers up, line them up alphabetically by height and give them points for every race that they do. At the end of the season, the driver with the most points is the overall driver champion. That's pretty much straightforward. There's the Constructors Championship. Now that's for teams. You get 5 drivers per team. Top 2 drivers each race score points for your team. Add them all up at the end of the season, and you are the champion there. Now for the Mario Andretti Drivers Championship, there's 2 drop races. You get to drop 1 oval and 1 road. No drop races in the Constructors Championship. The Sportsman, again, with drop races, you get to drop an oval and a road. What they do on this one is the Pacific Majors, they have their own special secret sauce driver value system that they use to establish the cap to see who's eligible to be a sportsman. And for drivers without much history, they use an I rating to figure that out. And if you're a sportsman, you get a chance to race against drivers of equal quality there. My favorite one, the one that warms the cockles and adjacent giblets of my heart, is the Legends. That's for drivers over 50. Receding hairline is optional on that one. And then there is the Governor's Cup. This one, I think, is the one, at least for me, gets the most interest, and that's your iRacing, your club championship. And there's the 4 clubs that have been around for a long time. Northwest, the West, California, and Texas. Those have been the established one. This season, they're bringing in 2 more. They bring in the Great Plains and Canada. So now 6 different clubs competing for that one. They're all also championships for each individual club. So lots of stuff that we'll cover throughout the season. One of the best run series on iRacing is the Pacific Majors League, and Mike Willett does a great job. Joe?
And with this being a little bit different each time we get out and race with the Pacific Majors, we try and keep you up to date of what each race entails. This one is, of course, a short track race. And Brian, what are they up against here at Five Flags?
Well, what they are up against tonight, Joe, right now, what we're watching, this is the last chance qualifier race to make their way into the big 300-mile, or the 300-lap race. 300 miles around a half-mile short track, we'd be here all night. But there you see right there, it's an open setup, 100% fuel, 50 laps on the speedway. You do get one quick repair. That's kind of just like going back to the hauler and unloading a brand new car. But with the way that we've got 35 drivers here taking time, and the, let me just kind of glance through here really quick. Your top 10 is separated by about 2/10. It's going to be a little tricky if you have to pull out that backup car anywhere beyond probably lap 20 to make your way back up there. The other thing, too, is this is a very, very tight pack majors field. They have had a series of qualifying races and different qualifying events going on. And in the main, the big show, the top, I had it right here, and then I lost it. So that's always what it goes. But so tonight, in the top 30 for the main event, there was just 0.169 seconds separating that out. And in fact, the the guy that's going to lead everybody off tonight for the last chance qualifier, Dennis Fusion, he missed making the main show by 1/1000th of a second. Wow. So you want to talk about going from the penthouse to the outhouse and hopefully back to the penthouse. That's what he is up against tonight. There you see that number 11. Looks like Toyota Camry super late model. And I'll tell you what, driving around here is fun. Director, point me at someone cutting laps. I think I just saw the 57 cut by. And there we go. There's Mark Herzog. And the thing really about this track, and he knew we were talking about him, so he got shy. I'm looking at D. Palmer now, the 23. It's just things happen here so very fast. I mean, turn 1 and 2, there's a bump right there in the middle of the speedway, that you're in the middle of the corner that you really want to try to get out and then aim for the wall. Turns 3 and 4, there is a quote-unquote grip strip right there about 3 inches from the wall on the inside. If you hook the left side tires right there along that white line, you're going to get a great run off the corner. You miss it by probably 3 inches the other way, you are collecting the left front fender into that wall. So high risk, high reward scenario there out of turn 4. And there you see that front stretch that I'm talking about where it's not really much of a straightaway.
And it sounds like this is going to be a very particular car that anybody who's a specialist is going to have a little bit of an advantage here. And Bill, we always talk about in the Pacific Majors that it rewards drivers who are varied and have a wide skill set, can drive a lot of different cars, but at the same time, anybody who has driven any of these cars before is going to perform well in that individual race.
What usually happens on a typical series at GSRC, we do the first race. We get an idea of who the drivers are going to be that are going to be great throughout the rest of the season, and pretty much that plays out true. Today, we'll get an idea of what drivers are great in ovals in this late model, and then that'll not really carry over to the next race or the next race or the next race. So you got to be around for a while. There are some drivers that are remarkably talented at anything they do. And it's surprising to see them great on ovals, short ovals, and road courses as well. Open wheel, this is a great series.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I love calling these races with the variety of styles of racing that they put on, and the fact that each week you might see someone different come up to the fore, as you mentioned. So we've got just a few minutes left in qualifying, well, not in qualifying, in practice, I should say, before we get onto this last chance race. As we watch a few of them work their way around, you can get an idea of just how quickly they get around this circuit. Now, one thing I've noticed, Brian, is that they've had practice going on for a while, and it's looking like the track is rubbering in significantly already. And this track state is, in fact, going to carry over to the race. How is that going to affect the racing?
Well, I mean, that's the big thing. You get up there in that no man's land, up there where those marbles are building up. It's going to affect how things run. I mean, I'm just watching here. It's the 99 and the 03 cut some laps around practice, and the 03 was up there in that gray area, up above the gray area, I mean. And that thing came off the corner about sideways and squirrely and unhappy. So it's going to be interesting because also with the dynamic tracks that we have here on the iRacing service, a lot of tracks are going to go through some changes. I mean, especially as the rubber lays down, it's going to probably definitely change the handling on these cars. So with the open setups, that's going to be handy. But the problem is, with the way that you have to go through pit road here, if you're anywhere outside of probably the top 7, full 4 fresh tires and a tank of fuel, you're going to lose a lap. So you might see guys duck onto pit road. They might change right sides. They might just make an adjustment just to try to dial something into the event. And something else that we kind of, I guess, slightly forgot to mention, top 9 finishers here. Or no, hold on, Sue. I'm going to let Joe take that one. Or nope,
top 8.
Corrected. Top 8 make it to the big show. So that eighth spot on the track, I have a feeling when it gets down to maybe 2 or 3 to go, you might see friends become enemies and not so many enemies become friends.
But 9 through the back, they're not done. They get to go to the second split, and there's points to be made there as well. Of course, the points that you get in the first split are going to be a little bit larger than you would get in the second split. But honestly, if you win the second split, you're probably going to end up with more points than finishing the back half of the first split. So it all depends on where you end up. And of course, that second split is also being broadcast by our friends at Off Camber TV as well.
So if your favorite driver doesn't make it into this top split, don't fret. You can go and watch that one live. Or if you want to watch the main and don't want to miss your friend, you can always go back and watch Off Camber's broadcast after the race.
Yeah, or if you have 3 screens, you can pull up both broadcasts.
All right, well, let's get to the qualifying now that things have wrapped up here, and we're going to take our pace laps very soon. On the grid, Dennis Fusen is going to be on the pole with Ryan Worley in second place. And you've got Mike Franklin starting in third with Stephen Paulson on the outside of row 2. Mark Walls will be starting in 5th, followed by Dee Palmer in 6th, Ryan Toma in 7th, and Scott Gruber is in 8th. And then in row 5 on the inside, it'll be Marcus Armstrong and Jack Johnson. Bill?
Then we get to row number 6, and we should point out this is qualifying that was done not right now, but earlier in the week. That's going to be Clark Archer and Carl Burke. Burke, a veteran of this series. Bob Butrami and Mark Redeker, another veteran name down there in row 7. 15 and 16 are going to go to Paul Slavonic and Trevor Clement. Aaron Stowe and Mark Herzog make up 17 and 18. And finally, row 10 is David Baker and Donovan Johns.
In blackjack, your favorite position there, Soup, that's going to go to Jeremy Morrison, 22nd to Jared Morgan, Michael Ouellette there in 23rd, 24th to Ben Stover, 25th to Brett Trosen? Trosine? See, there we go. I already got corrected. Scott Wanbaugh in 26th, 27th to Mitchell Coronet, 28th to Mark McFadden, Patrick Fleming in 29th, and 30, Jimbo Pfeiffer.
31st is going to be Gary Nichols, followed by Andy Kennedy in 32nd. Todd Labronte, new name that I don't recognize here, in 33rd. Drew Lalonde, 34th, followed by Bradley Haley. Surprised to see him that far down in 35th. C.R. Reed in 36th, and rounding out the field, it's going to be Ray Fournier in 37th. And that is your entire field out here today at Five Flag Speedway for round 1 of the Pacific Majors.
Joe, some really big names that have great history in this series just fighting to make the main today.
Such has the talent increased with the 2 new clubs that they've introduced. I believe the number I saw is 250 drivers registered for this season, 2017. But pace car peels off, and up at the front, Dennis Fusen has control. He waits, he backs him up just a little bit. Green flag comes out, and that number 11 now has control. Down into turns 1 and 2. Still a lot of side-by-side action as everybody sorts himself out, but it's looking pretty clean so far.
Clean all the way back off of turn 2. I've got my eye on Gary Nichols back here. He is going to be side-by-side with the number 45 machine. And he's going to get by there. That's important. Lap 1 of 50. You got to get through there just to get by. Lots of battles all over the place. These guys are trying to fiddle them feel their way through here. 57 and the 75 machine on the outside, trying down the 46, sorry, got down. Oh, problems out of turn 4. Oh,
Big
pull it out,
huge
pull it
pile.
out, big junk.
My goodness.
And this is exactly what I was talking about in the pre-race, boys and girls. Once something happens, it is really easy for everybody behind them to get caught up into that. There you see the contact up there. I can't make out the car numbers.
Looks like Carl Burke, I think, is the one that kicked that off.
And he has disconnected from the world.
Yeah, I say with Carl Burke as well. He got into it with the was it the
He got
66?
tipped. Yeah.
Or the 99. The 99. I was reading it upside down.
Yeah, this is on board Herzog.
Drew Lalonde
Right.
is also disconnected.
This is a question of who wasn't involved, not who was involved.
Eesh.
Oh, there was no way for the California driver to react to that. And you can see the drivers piling in when you're at speed. Just not much you can do.
No, and especially coming out of turn 4, when you got the power down to make good steam, there's just no time to react. Because you're all the way into the gas, you're trying to make it run, and then you've got to all of a sudden blow everything back up and not get involved or try to ease out of it. But it's just not that easy. These cars do not stop on a dime.
We're going to watch on board Morgan. Did he maybe avoid this somehow, miraculously? Look at all the cars in
local
front of
gas
him.
station getting a scratch-off ticket. Let's see here.
Does he just get it slow to... Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Someone
The
buy that man
C's part.
he gets an ice cream cone. That's some wreck avoidance right there.
Well, let's go through our top 10 at least to get you up to speed on that. Fusion still up at the front. Mike Franklin has slotted into second. Mark Walls in third. Ryan Worley, he's fallen back. He started on the front row. He's down in fourth. Stephen Paulson is in fifth. You got D. Palmer in the number 23 in sixth position. Ryan Toma in seventh. Marcus Armstrong running in eighth. Clark Archer in ninth. And then Bob Beltrami rounds out our top 10.
Now, there are fast repairs in some of these cars that are one lap down. There's also the lucky dog. I wouldn't give up on this yet. A lot of these guys left thinking, okay, it's the second split for me, but that may not be the case even if you're lap down. We got a ways to go. I don't think, Brian, that's going to be our only yellow flag.
Nope.
That'd be amazing. Now it is a 50-lap race, though.
I'm not much of a bold gambler, but I'll bet every dollar and dime and penny that I got that we'll have another caution.
Just a quick update. Drew Lalonde disconnected, but he did not start the race. He was in pit lane when the green flag fell, so I think he maybe had some issues there. But they are doubled up now, too wide. And once again, Fusion is going to have control as the roof pace car gets ready to peel off. Coming off of turn 4, number 11, waiting for the green flag. Everybody stacking up once again. And here we go. Let's try this one more time. Acceleration on these cars phenomenal as they already pick up speed down into 1 and 2, then into 3 and 4. First two wide we've got. Looks to be Stephen Paulison and Ryan Worley.
There you see the 10 of Marcus Armstrong. Oh, no, sorry, I'm ahead of you. I'm just ahead of you.
It's really a case of odd and even. You look at the car number 23 running in 7th position right now. He started third in line. He was running in 6th. He's been pushed all the way back. And you just can't get to the inside. That's I'm talking about D. Palmer.
Well, just like a dirty rug, you get hung out to dry up there in the top lane. It's really hard, especially in these super late model cars, because they just don't have the horsepower that you might traditionally see on some of the series here on the Global Sim Racing channel.
Gruber had a huge moment there. Sorry to interrupt, but the 90 managed to gather it together. See if we can squeeze in a replay there. This is coming off of 4. He caught that inside apron like you mentioned, and that sent him almost all the way out to the outside.
Yeah, it's just like I tell the people I work with. Sometimes I know a thing or two. Ooh, did he? No, yeah. Almost. I thought he maybe had some help, but I was wrong. And now you're talking about that 23 car there, Sue. Yeah, he's outside looking in now. He's looking up at the rear bumper of Marcus Armstrong in that final transfer spot.
That's where I think the top 8 right now are happy where they are. Well, maybe the top 7. I'm not so sure if Armstrong's happy in 8th because the guys are going to be coming after him here. Mainly D. Palmer. Now, what's unfortunate, Palmer, like I said, was starting 6th at the restart where he was on the outside line and he got pushed all the way back. Here he comes.
Because in most everybody's single file first side-by-side action we've got is number 57 in 21st position. That's Herzog and Mark McFadden. Looks like Herzog is going to come out on top on that one.
Let's take a quick look at Bob Beltrami running now in 9th position. He's got to the inside of D. Palmer. Why I'm focused here so much is this is the magic spot.
Oh, we got an accident happening behind them. That is the car of Paul Slavonic. He slips back on track, and that's going to bring out the yellow. Did a good job of getting that off the circuit, though. Had a little bit of help from behind. That was Jack Johnson who tipped him. You're going to see it on the replay. Just a little bit of contact with the inside wall, it looks like, so he might have some damage to repair.
And Brian, here's where I talk about the luck of the odd and the even. You're Marcus Armstrong, you're feeling happy, you're in 8th position, things are going your way. All of a sudden the yellow comes out. Now you're pushed on the outside of row 4 with the guy ready to jump on that Bob Beltrami right behind you. So you really almost want to, you'd rather be in an odd number than you would be on an even number that's ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Soup. I would much rather be in the 1, 3, 5, or 7 position here tonight, especially with everything that's on the line. Getting into that big show, the 300 lapper coming up a little bit later tonight. You got 33 laps to go, and right now you're at the point that, you get hung out on that outside, you might not get a chance to recover. I'll be curious to see now the 23. Oh, God, the poor D. Palmer. He got hung out to dry the last restart, and he's going to line up in 10th. He's going to get hung out to dry again.
Yeah.
You're right. He started, D. Palmer, well, he started 6th.
So he's been moving backwards. This is not the race that he was hoping for. But he could still come back. There's still a number of laps to go, about 30 left, but we're not going to get back to green flag racing for another couple as the pace car leads them around and they get it sorted out before they go too wide.
30 cars on the lead lap. There was a lucky dog that got the wave around that time.
If
Only
you're
in
just
Only in iRacing can you see a roof lead a series of super late model cars around a Florida short track.
Yeah, there's pictures of a Porsche in the 60s at Daytona, I believe, as a pace car.
Well, that wasn't super late models, Joe.
Well, if you're just joining us here, obviously this is the Snowball Derby presented by the Sticker Shack. It's the first round of the Pacific Majors. Welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. This is the last chance qualifier, so this is not the big race quite yet. This is drivers trying to get into the pro split. This series has so many drivers that they have to split these major races up into various sections so that everybody can participate. Of course, we cover the top guys here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We're now 2x2. Fusion still hasn't given it up. He's led every lap so far, and he's going to lead them back to green once again.
See how he handles his restart here again. He's been bringing him down real slow.
Certainly seems to like that method. Is he going to vary it up? He's not taking off yet. In fact, he's waited a long time. Now he's going, and there was a huge check
back up there. Yeah, back big, and it's probably just going to accordion through the field. Armstrong going to get away luckiest, though. He's going to only lose one spot if he can get back down.
Oh, we got a challenge for the lead, though. Mark Wall's looking to the inside, down into 3 and 4. Can he get the run off the corner? This is the first time we've seen a lead change. He gets it across the line, and now he's finally got it done down in a 1 and 2.
Oh, problems out back. It's in turn 4. The number 96 machine, Jared Morgan.
It looks like Mike Willett was involved in that. Went to the inside of Morgan, just got into the side of him, and that car went way up the hill. Oh, that was Gary Nichols that he got. Thankfully, this was at the very back of the pack, and Nichols actually got away lucky. Gillette, obviously the organizer of this league. Well, there was a car down low. Not sure if that's who you saw earlier, Ryan.
That was a car just stopped on track.
I think that was Jack Johnson that was off the circuit.
20. He did, I believe he did. He got a black flag the last time around. I didn't see for what. Now Mike Ouellette getting a black flag as well from race control.
And yeah, I believe that's what I was about to say, that they have live marshals and they do hand out black flags if they don't think your driving is up to standards. So,
well, I'm gonna whisper this, but look at the 944, guys. It's kind of smoking. I don't want to be a tattler, but I think there's a black flag coming for Brett Trozine here pretty quick.
Well, I was going to say he's going to have to head in because even with a smoking engine, I think it automatically gives you the meatball, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Luckily, though, for the virtual fans around the speedway, mosquitoes won't be a problem now.
Well, barbecue is open down in the pits. 944 is probably going to have to take that spare car, and he dutifully does. Now, we've seen nothing but Dennis Fusen leading the way on the restarts. Now we've got Mark Walls on the inside taking control. Let's see what the number 25 has in store for us.
Just to update you back there at the cutoff line, this is interesting. Beltrami was in 9th last time around. Started in the inside of the 5th row, was able to make up that position. That's the good news. You got inside the top 8. The bad news is you are 8th, meaning you're on the outside now. And the guy you just got around, Marcus Armstrong, going to be on the inside right behind you.
Guy I think sitting in the catbird seat, Stephen Paulison, up there in the number 58 machine in the 5th position. He's starting on the inside, and he's got a cushion either way. So just get this race restarted, let him fall into a line, and just finish it out.
They're running out of laps to do it. They're on lap 28, so
23 to go.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now you're going to hear that stopwatch it's just going to start ticking louder and louder, and now I have a feeling if these boys weren't being aggressive before, you are about to see that aggression get pegged off of the charts here as we're going to come back around to the restart. Mark Walls in control of it. Let's see how he handles this, and he's bringing it down. He got on the loud pedal early, gets a huge jump.
Wasted no time. The number 11 has no chance to try and respond. He's going to slot into second. A little bit of side-by-side action behind them. Right now, Stephen Paulison on the inside of Clark Archer. This is for 6th and 7th right now, or actually 7th and 8th even. So I think this is an important spot. And look at this, Archer falling backwards. Tries to go in deep to salvage something. Ryan Worley's going to look on the inside. This is for 6th that he's gotten.
Armstrong going to try to poke the nose. He makes contact with the 29. But the 29
and he straightens him out.
Oh, but the checkered look, it's all happening behind him.
Yeah, I don't think other people got the message. Got a big pile up there in turn 4, I believe.
Well, incredibly, I don't think we had anybody turn around. The worst we've got is Ben Stover with a smoking engine.
Archer got stuck in that even position, and they just would not let them in. And then he tried to come in, and Marcus Armstrong said, maybe behind me might be a better idea.
Now watch Stover here on screen from that blimp view. Let's see if we can... Oh. See him coming in and just nowhere to go. Slams into the back of that car. Let's go on board the 311. See what he saw. This is on Patrick Fleming. Yeehaw!
Carlo.
Getting some chatter on the radio there, but man, Fleming just watched it all unfold behind him there from that camera view as well. Hot Wheels machine not looking as hot now. And of course, Ben Stover's 420 machine is not as high up the order as it used to be.
Marcus Armstrong on pit road.
Now, I'm not...
Oh, he got a black flag.
Right. I think that was the marshal's throwing. That was the incident that started it all. We talked about Archer, who was running in 6th position. Archer tried to come in. Armstrong gave him the bump. And I'm not really going to argue too much with the race stewards on this one. This was probably deserved.
George Wood being our flag marshal out there, giving out the penalties.
Which I don't know how much satisfaction that's going to give Archer, who was running up. He's running in 11th now. He's running 6th at the time. So I guess you're glad that somebody was punished, but you're still struggling.
So what you're saying, Soup, is that he can't get no satisfaction?
You can try and try, but no.
Just listen to some of the in-race chatter, and there's some confusion, some anger. So far, no one has used those 4-letter words that can be described as adjectives or adverbs or, things like that.
Confusion and anger in a short track race, are you sure? Is that normal there?
Yeah, in other news, water's still wet and sky is in fact still blue.
Yeah, Joe and I were talking about that. This is a tough way for the series organizers to start a season.
Yeah, I would have thought of other things to do.
Yeah, not conducive to friendliness going the rest of the way, but these guys will work it out.
All right, too wide. Once again, Mark Walls is going to have control with 15 laps to go, 14 laps to go when they cross the line as the pace car peels into the pit lane. Walls got a jump last time. He gets a jump once again. Fusen very, very late on the pedal. In fact, he might lose second place here as the number 24. Ryan Toma to the inside, and he's got it.
Meanwhile, Beltrami got a good restart back here in the 8th position. He has it all to himself, and he's got a small gap over Scott Gruber in that number 90 riding shotgun machine. But there you go. There is that stack up. He has to react, and now all of a sudden that 90 is right on the rear bumper.
That started actually when Fusen had to hop into line in 4th, and everybody behind him had to try and find a way to get the car woed up. Ryan Worley right behind that number 11, peeking in turn 1, but nothing doing there.
It's kind of like merging into traffic during rush hour. You just pick a spot and say, good luck, everybody, and don't look at the mirrors.
Those guys are starting to streak away a little bit. It's behind them that we've got Paulison and Jared Morgan blown an engine, I'm hearing.
He's telling people to get out of the way. Meanwhile,
down.
For the 7th position, there's D. Palmer. You talked about him, kind of a yo-yo effect. Worked his way back up. Now he's got +1 on the transfer spot, getting up to the 6th position, but that's going to get a lot more interesting behind him as now Paulison talking about being in the catbird speed. Oh, boy, that's a door you don't want to shut.
Manages to hold it together. Oh, almost gets into the back of Beltrami as he squeezes by.
That car has some right side damage. I wonder if he's caught the fence, and it might be hurting the handling on that machine. He's got to hold on. 9 laps to go.
Well, he was
in that catbird seat. Go ahead.
He had a nice cushion, but now he's lost both of those spots as he lost spots to Beltrami and Palmer. So now he's got to fend off Archer.
Oh, and of course there's going to be a late race restart. Looks like the 311, Patrick Fleming.
Fleming and Fournier started it off.
He's saying he did it.
Yeah, Fleming caught a little bit of the apron there. Started to get loose. As Fournier on the outside. Saw him come up across him, just really couldn't get out of the way in time, and then he gets T-boned. Who is that rammed into him? Mark Redeker. Let's look on LeBron. Yeah, the car just came down at the last second. Thought he had a clear track. The Northwest driver was denied.
Well, this is this restart coming up. That's going to be it because we've got 6 laps to go. Probably with the wave around and all that. We're probably going to get going here with 2 or 3 laps to go. And next flag is going to end it at that point.
Let's go ahead and look at the 29 machine. This is Clark Archer. Remember, he was running up well inside the cutoff line until he got tipped by Armstrong. Armstrong got the penalty, went to the back. Archer got pushed back to 11th position. Well, here he is on an odd number, sitting in 9th. And Paulison There's going to be an 8th. There's going to be on the outside of row 4. That's going to be a tough job for him to hold that position.
Yeah, I think if you wanted to be anybody right now, it's going to be Clark Archer having the best opportunity. The question is, once we get restarted, are we even going to make it to the checkered flag before we get another caution?
Right.
Once they make it to the white, the yellow cannot come out. So let's cross our fingers that we can at least get to that lap.
I predict it's not going to come from anybody running 7th or higher. Those guys are happy where they are right now. Just get me to the checkered.
If you're happy and you know what, turn left.
All right,
I'm
4 laps to go now.
I'm going to keep my eye on Archer on this restart. He's the cat in the catbird seat, and he's got a big fat bird right in front of him. Not saying that Stephen Paulson is a big fat bird. It's just you just listen to the metaphor.
All right, well, confusing.
Move the gazelle. There we go. Yeah, because I know he's not a gazelle.
What he is a guy who thinks if there's any justice, he should be farther ahead than 9th position. So that's not a guy you want behind you.
All right, are we going to stack up here? Looks like we're going too wide.
A 2-lap restart. What's the worst that could happen?
Can we get to the white flag? That's going to be critical. Mark Walls is going to be in first. Ryan Toma on the outside in second. Mike Franklin in third. Fusen, farthest we've seen him down the order, in fourth. Space car comes up to turn 3. All right, boys, let's try and make it 1 lap here. He is off. Walls has control, and he is gone. Gets a good jump on the 24, who's trying to keep himself up ahead of Mike Franklin and try and squeeze down to that position. He might be able to get clear. We're still going green flag racing. Up at the front, it's getting a little bit stacked up with some of these guys. And we're now on the final lap. All right, it's here to the end. No yellow flags. Walls still leading the way. Who is in that 9th position, though? Stephen Paulson has not got past Palmer.
Palmer is up stuck on the high side, though, so now dumping aside, and now there's banging and bumping, and Palmer gets pushed out.
Archer is going to take the 8th spot.
Very close.
Oh.
There's an accident in turn 1, but it's all said and done now. Mark Walls was your winner up at the front. We didn't watch him because we really needed to see who was the last car to come across in that bubble spot. Let's watch.
I mean, Archer got shot out of a cannon. He got the restart of his life getting away there. And that set him up to be in that position. And then I think everybody was just trying to come together in that spot.
Yeah, I believe Palmer actually started 6th. I think he was on the outside of the 3rd row and got a horrible jump.
We're going to watch the last lap in its entirety.
That's the orange car up on top who ends up finishing in 9th. He just cannot get down.
No, and then Archer got into Paulson there just a little bit, and that's what kind of stacked everybody up. And I think Archer was trying to maybe let him back in, and that stacked everybody else up, and then, well, you kind of see what happens there.
Well, since we won't be able to come back to these results, having to switch over, let's go through our finishing order. Mark Walls was your winner here in the last chance qualifier. Ryan Toma came home in 2nd place. Mike Franklin was in 3rd with Ryan Worley just outside the podium positions. Dennis Fusen, he started on pole. He was looking good for most of the race. As soon as he lost that lead, though, there was no help in it, and he was down in 5th by the end. Bob Beltrami came home in 6th with Clark Archer coming home in 7th. Then the final spot that advances, 8th, goes to Stephen Paulson. That is a guy with a big smile on his face. D. Palmer, the complete opposite, finishing 9th, was trying desperately to get up there but couldn't make it happen. David Baker was just behind him in 10th. Bill?
In 11th and 12th, it's Scott Gruber and Mark Herzog. Baker's dozen spot goes to Mark Redeker. 14th and 15th, Mark McFadden and Jimbo Pfeiffer. All ribbons and curls. And 16th is Jeremy Morrison. 17th goes to Paul Slavonic. 18th, 19th, and 20th will be distributed to Todd Labonte, Mitchell Cornett, and Scott Wanbaugh.
21st, C.R. Reed, Bradley Haley in 22nd, 23rd to Brett Trosen, Gary Nichols in 24th, 25th to Aaron Stowe, Jared Morgan unfortunately finishing 26th, Donovan Johns in 27th, 28th to Andy Kennedy, Ben Stover there in 29th, and 30th to Ray Fournier.
Now we're into drivers who had lots of trouble throughout the race. Patrick Fleming 8 laps down in 31st. Marcus Armstrong in 32nd. Mike Willett, series organizer, didn't have a great last chance qualifier. He was in 33rd. Jack Johnson in 34th. Trevor Clement in 35th. And Carl Burke in 36th. Drew Lalonde did not start. So that was our finishing order for the last chance qualifier. If you enjoyed that, stick around. We got the big show coming up next. 300 laps here around the Pensacola Track 5 Flag Speedway. This will be the Snowball Derby presented by Sticker Shack here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Stick around. Welcome back to Five Flag Speedway. We just watched the last chance qualifier before we get to the main event here at the Snowball Derby presented by Sticker Shack. And we have first up a driver who's going to be racing in the big event, and that is Michael Smith. We know him as Smitty here at the Global Sim Racing channel. And Smitty, I know you were watching that last chance qualifier. What thoughts has that given you about this main event and taking part of it? Does it give you any information that'll help you?
Well, yeah, it's going to be keep your nose clean, specifically the nose too. I think it's one of the things where you're going to have to keep your eyes up and make sure that you're not running in the back of anybody. It's really easy under the braking zone to kind of have the eyes up and make sure that you don't run into the guy in front of you, provided there's no quick checks. But there's always going to be quick checks, so it's going to be making sure you don't run into the guy in front of you and get to the end. Don't cause a yellow.
Certainly seemed like the stack-ups really rippled down, and there were a lot of people caught out by those. Do you have any expectations or goals on where to finish in this big race?
Well, as you guys know, I can't seem to have good races without issues. So if I can have a trouble-free race for the most part, I'll count that as a win. Honestly, with how tough everything was in qualifying, I just want to really make sure I'm there at the end, and I'm shooting to make the pro split all year and hopefully top 15.
We'll try not to mention your name in this race. How's that sound?
As little TV time as possible.
Okay. That was Michael Smith, who's going to be taking part in the big event here in a few moments here at Five Flag Speedway. Next up, we got an interesting interview rather. George Wood. Remember, he was the one doling out the penalties. He was the flag marshal out there at the last chance qualifier. Bill's going to talk to him about how that went.
Boy, this is a thankless job. George, good luck to you coming up. And are you doing the big one as well?
I believe so. They want me back again, so I must be doing something right.
Well, let's go to the one. I think I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to throw you some softball questions here. The incident that I saw was the Armstrong Archer incident where he gave a penalty to Armstrong there for kind of a punching Archer, and I kind of thought it was appropriate, and I guess you got some good attitude from Armstrong as well, said that was his bad.
Yeah, that's usually happens. I've been on both sides of it. I've been racing around real life for quite a while, and sometimes you get off the track and you're mad at somebody else, and then you take a look at it from a different perspective, and then you realize that it was you.
It's kind of the nature of the beast in a last chance qualifier there. It's kind of all or nothing for that 8th position. They were pretty well behaved up front. It was back there 6th, 7th, 8th. And then with all the yellows, you get guys who get shuffled. They're doing fine. They're running in 6th position. All of a sudden, they get reset. They find themselves on the outside of row 3 and in jeopardy.
Yeah, it gets kind of tight. I guess the 8th place was about the last 5 laps or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the good news is for Archer, who got after the bump, even though there was a penalty, he got moved down to 11th. He was able to get back inside the top 8. Anything specifically you're going to be watching out for when it comes to the main event?
Probably some hard feelings. I mean, it is a short track and it is a super late model. It looks like we're taking laps tonight around 17-1, 17-2. So they're going to be throwing snowballs pretty hard.
Yeah, Joe and I were talking, and Brian as well, about this is a tough place to start the season. You jump right into the frying pan at this place.
I was kind of nervous about that because I didn't want to get behind on the yellow flags and trying to sort anything out. But hopefully these guys in these A mains can keep it clean for me.
All right, let's hope they put on a good show for us and make your job a lot easier there for this next 300 laps that are coming up. Good luck coming up.
All right, thanks, sir. Hopefully I'll talk to you later.
George Wood, our race steward today, made a tough call, and I liked the call, and I think it was nice that the guy who got the penalty also said, I'll take that one.
Well, we actually have another one of the admins from the last round, Nick Johnson, who's come to talk to us and see how he viewed this first race of the season and his expectations coming in the next one. Let's hand him over to Brian to see how he thinks things will go in the big round.
Well, Joe kind of stole my leadoff question. So, Nick, what are we expecting for the A main here? 300 laps around this little joint.
Well, hopefully from an administration point of view, we're hoping for a nice, clean, easy first 150 laps. Everyone realizes it's a very long race, so hopefully everyone's going to be cordial towards each other, just get into a a nice groove and everyone start picking off the laps. But if some drivers decide they're going to start setting a precedent, we're going to have to set one ourselves and make sure that this race goes clean and everyone has a good time.
So I guess, short track racing it's inherently close, obviously. So I guess from an admin side of things, I guess, what are you on the lookout for? I mean, what's your, for kind of a lack of a better term, what's your trigger that you're going to all of a sudden just go after somebody for?
Well, I know all of short track racing, the most favorite move is the bump and run. And that's something that's not allowed over here in the Pacific Majors. So we're going to be looking for that. That's going to be a big one, making sure that the positions are given back if such a move were to happen. Obviously, being in short track, incidental contact will happen. So we're going to have to be watching, see if there's any intent there. We're probably going to lean more on the side that stuff was not intentional. But you just got to make sure everyone is clean through the first 2-3 laps. Then once everything kind of singles off into one groove, things tend to flow. It always seems that in the first 3-4 laps is when everything happens. And like they always say with the big guys on Sunday afternoons, cautions breed cautions. And I'm fairly positive that will happen if things start getting out of hand.
Sounds good. I guess kind of for the viewers at home that might be curious about what's going on, what's kind of the approach? Is there like a strike system that you're looking at, or is it straight to park it? How are you going to react?
Well, there's a system that they have. It is first off, you get a warning for like say a bump and run, something very minor. You'll get a warning. If you cause a yellow with a fault, that's an end of line penalty behind all the other drivers that you have affected in such wreck. A second offense is going to give you a 1-lap penalty. And then once you cause your third yellow, you're parked for the night. You're not having a good night, whether, it could be any number of reasons, but in the end, you're not having a great night. You may not be a bad driver. You could be the best driver here, but you just got into a couple people and your night's over. I mean, you can't spend all night. We got 300 laps to do, and sometimes those are tough decisions to make, but we have a job to do to have a good show for you guys and all the fans out there, so that's what we're going to have to do.
Hey, Nick, it's Soup here. Let me ask a quick question. I've done a lot of IRT work with road racing where so much is the presentation. Did he get down the inside? Was he far enough on the inside to own the apex? What's the rule here? If I'm on the inside and I get my nose just inside the guy who maybe is a little bit wide, do I have a right to that apex? Am I good to stick my nose just in there a little bit, or do I have to get a certain way front before you get upset with me?
For what I'm going with, and George and myself, what we're going with is nose up to the inside rear tire. Once you're up to that point, that's your corner, and you have the right to the inside. Now, if you start coming up half a lane and you get into the guy on the outside, that's going to be your fault because you went into the corner early apex down the inside. You're going to have to slow up a bit more to make sure you hold your car down there. So short track racing, everything's going to be really close. We're going to have to watch both sides of it. The guy on the outside pinching or just turning down, and the guy on the inside coming up. It's going to be a lot of judgment calls. We may have a few cautions that go an extra lap or two to make sure we do it right, because I'd rather have everyone sit in a caution for an extra lap or two and we make the right call than rushing into the wrong call and ruining someone's race because we only had 3 laps of caution.
Well, if there's any consolations, drivers rarely think that it's their fault, so good luck to you. Hopefully you won't have too many to worry about.
No, that's for sure. It's being a driver myself, it's always the other guy did something to cause it. But if you look at it, it always takes 2 to tango. So there's always something the other guy could have done to prevent it, and sometimes you got to put more blame on one driver than the other.
All right, thanks a lot. Joe?
Up next, we have last season's Mario Andretti Drivers Champion. This season, he's going to be in a slightly different role tonight. He's acting as team manager for Alliance Racing, who, if I recall correctly, actually won the team championship last season as well. Jason Fleischle, welcome to the booth.
Hey, Joe. Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
Having a good time tonight up here watching these guys race around Pensacola. How about you, though, handling the team down there on track? Did you have anybody in the last chance qualifiers?
Yeah. We had 4 cars in LCQ and one that made it there. I think you guys were, were covering that. So, congrats to Ryan for making it. I was spotting for Mark there, and we got him up, about 10 spots or so. Actually, 6 spots from where he started. A little bit tough ass to get him all the way up to 8th there in such a short amount of time. Well, those 50 laps clicked off quick, but it was a good effort there.
So, as a team manager, how are you approaching the strategy, especially in the big race coming up? With 300 laps, that's a long ways to go, and there's going to be a lot of cautions that will really mix things up. Do you have a plan going in, or is it all going to be just calculated on the fly?
It's pretty much on the fly. I mean, the plan going in was to get as many of our team into the pro split as we could, and like I said, we had to try 4 guys in the LCQ there, and managed to get 1 more in there. So we've got 6 guys or 5 guys in the pro split now, and so it's pretty much just the strategies don't take each other out, and right along, try and get up to the front and stay there. And then, of course, the short track racing, the last 15, 20 laps or so, it's every man for himself.
Yeah, it does seem like getting up front and getting that clean air is going to be critical to staying out of trouble, especially with us already having seen a big one in just a 50-lap race, let alone 300. How do you guys plan to handle long runs if you run into traffic, though? Is there any sort of strategy with that? And can you help each other out if one of you gets far enough behind?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty much what we're playing, is the dynamic rubber and the track conditions it's just changing really rapidly, and especially with 38 cars on track, and we're going to have a full pro split, right? In the baking sun, 1 and 2 are tending to tighten up pretty early, a lot faster, because they're baking in the sun a lot more, and we've got a setup for a long run. That's kind of what we're banking on, is for the track to come to us later in the race.
Well, here's hoping that you guys get some long runs going into it. And best of luck to Alliance for this season. We'll see how you guys perform now that you got 2 more clubs to compete with. Yeah,
I think this is awesome. I hope you guys are super excited, because can you believe the turnout for short track? It's awesome.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, this has been fantastic, and the talent has definitely come out. That was Jason Fleischle, team manager for Alliance Racing, and also last season's Mario Andretti's Drivers' Cup champion. We got 1 more to go. Sounds like Mark McFadden has been waiting in the wings. He took part in this last chance qualifier, did not make it into the big show with the pro split main, so he's going to be going down to the AM. But first of all, Mark, we have to say we enjoyed your Tesla out there. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a rough one there, but just trying to get 1 Canadian into the darn thing, but guess we couldn't get it.
Yeah, being new to this series, being part of one of the new clubs, what are your thoughts as a fresh face? Is this a little bit overwhelming, or do you think you can handle all this that's coming at you in such quick time?
Well, it's definitely overwhelming, but I definitely enjoy the process that they do this. It's exciting. It's exciting all week long, and the qualifying was exciting, watching whether or not to take a stab at it.
We talked to one of the drivers that's going to be taking part in the pro split. That was Smitty, Michael Smith, a little bit ago. Since you're going to the AM split, does that affect how you're going to approach this race? Does it change anything, or is it the same plan even if you had made it into the pro?
No, I will run a lot slower, and even if I have to drift to the back and just let it, 300 laps is a long ways to go.
That is for sure. Brian, before we let him go, do you have any questions for Mark?
No, nothing for me. You pretty much covered that one.
Pretty much got her, did you?
Favorite jelly bean flavor? How about that?
Lime.
Oh, I do have a question for him, for the nerdy people out there. What's the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
I think it's -4.
That's an interesting one. All right, that's Mark McFadden. Raced in the last chance qualifier here in the Snowball Derby presented by Sticker Shack, and is going to be slotting down to the AM Championship. Thanks for coming and talking to us.
Thanks very much, guys, and good broadcast.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, I believe we're going to take a short break. Let me double check on that. All right, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back after we get everything set up for the big show, and then we'll be back for the Snowball Derby presented by Sticker Shack. Welcome back to Five Flag Speedway here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We're watching round one of the 2017 Pacific Majors. This is the Snowball Derby presented by Sticker Shack. If you've been watching us for a while, you may have caught the last chance qualifier that we just covered. The top 8 are advancing to this one, the 300 lap main event. And Brian, let's talk about the race details. They're going to be a little bit different from the last round.
Yeah, we are going around here another 250 laps compared to that. Still open setup, still 100% fuel. You get the one quick repair, and there you see the temperature, 65 degrees and sunny. And you know what that means. Track temperature is in the 94 degree range, so I've already been seeing a bunch of cars coming off a turn 4, chasing the rear of the car, I think is maybe the more polite way of saying that.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Makes me wonder if we're going to see a lot of spun cars coming out of 2 and 4 throughout the day. And we see James Wyckoff there for Just Cause Racing. Now, you might notice their purple scheme with their logo on the front. Now, they have very special reason. David Williams, part of that team as well in the 01, that they have the livery that they do this round. They bring awareness to various causes each month that they race for the Pacific Majors. Their team logo, in fact, is meant to reflect compassion for all people, and they're going to change that paint scheme each month for each cause. January's is Birth Defect Prevention Awareness, and that's what you're going to be seeing, I believe, at this race and probably at the next race as well at the 2.4 hours of Daytona. We've got just about 6 minutes left in practice here, but Bill, I know you wanted to talk to our viewers a little bit about the qualifying and how this all works.
Again, something that Mike Willett does, it's really nice. What they do is, it's qualifying during the week, and they have several sessions that you can get in and qualify, but you're only allowed to qualify once. So you come on in, you post your time. Now, well, let me explain myself. You're allowed to post a time. Then you get that up there. You're trying to get into this main split. You're trying to be at least in the top 30. If you don't like your time, you get the option to post another time, but you have to withdraw your first time. So you got to go in and put in a good qualifying time as well. And it's really fun for these drivers as they check in. They posted what they do their first time. They post it. They see how they're doing. One sitting in 20th and sitting in 25th. As the week goes on, suddenly they find themselves down in 35th. And what do you know? They got to come back and try to better it. So it's great. So the guys know ahead of time where they're going to start. We know who the pole sitter is. We know who's going to be, well, in 30th position. And then those final 8 guys fill up the 38 spots. 38 cars here on this short track. Whew.
It is going to be tight around this half-mile circuit. It'll be comparable to what we saw in the 50-lap last chance qualifier before, but it's a lot more laps. We heard the organizers talking about it as we interviewed them. Going to require a lot more patience, especially in the first half of this race until things sort themselves out. And we will be seeing scheduled pit stops for this race. And boy, you touched on that a little bit earlier, Brian, how that's the timing of you doing that and what you elect to do in that stop so much affecting your race.
You're absolutely correct. For viewers that might be just tuning in, to come down pit road and put on 4 tires, fill it full of gas, make your adjustments, whatever, you're looking at about a 45-second delta down pit road. So those of us out there maybe not familiar with the term delta, it's basically from when you hit pit road entrance to pit road exit. So solid 45 seconds there. And just looking at the top of the board in practice here, they're cutting laps in that mid 16 second bracket. So easily, if you make your pit stop under green, you're easily losing 3 to 4 laps. And even under caution, if you're sitting maybe 20th and you come down pit road, you're going to lose your lap as well.
That's one of the things I was talking to some of the drivers ahead of time. I go, you guys going to come in for tires, or what's the strategy? You're going to go for track position? And a lot of them said, we can't afford to stay out because we can't afford to come in and take a long stop, even under yellow, under threat of losing a lap. So a lot of guys will be coming in every time, even though they don't need to, just so they don't need to take a long stop ever.
Well, 4 tires, by not taking fuel, I've done this in a couple of the fixed races that you'll see here on the Global Sim Racing channel, and even not taking fuel might save you 2 seconds or so, but still, you're going to be in a very tight window, and you're going to have to pit at least once from some of the information that I've been gathering here leading up to this event. So you got to bite the bullet once. It's just, when do you want to do it?
About 2.5 minutes left to go. There's a tradition I like to bring in here at GSRC, and Bill, thankfully, there's no money riding on this, but who's your pick for today?
Thank God. Yeah, I've been wearing a disguise so that my bookie can't find me. I gotta be honest with you. I'm gonna go with a little hometown here. We did Crackers. Sean Ambrose and I did a series in the WSU, the We Stand United series, where we saw some guys. They've come over to race over here, so I'm going to pick one of them. I like Travis Henderson. He's been really good. They put in a lot of practice time. And honestly, if I get to pick somebody else, I got to pull for James Weisskopf. Now, he's not a We Stand United guy. But once again, Weisskopf has put in a ton of practice time. Looked at the laps that he put in, and it was in 4 digits.
All right. So, Brian, who's got your eye?
I'm kind of looking up here towards the top of the board. One of the new guys coming in from the Great Plains division, Matthew Thurnhorst. Am I getting that right? Thurnhorst. Yes. Sitting third in practice. Looks like the car, it's got some stable drive. He's cutting down about 27 laps here in practice. Definitely working on some of the long hauls. He's only pitted about twice or so, and maybe just on a fresh run right now. But that's kind of who I'm keeping my eye on here, just because, new guy in a whole bunch of new school, in the new school of people. You got to go out there and show your stuff, show off, and get up there. And it looks like that 98 really is in a very good position.
Well, he is with Alliance Racing, and they are a known force when it comes to these ovals. The driver that I'm going to say, and it's not just because he's topping the timesheets here in practice right now.
Oh, you cheater.
No, well, no. I have reason for this. Kalisto was on incredible form at the end of last season, both on ovals and on road. He really is a Mario Andretti-esque driver. Lionel Kalisto is my pick for today, the number 2. I think he has a very good chance if he can keep out of trouble. And he's already got wins under his belt in the Pacific Majors, so I wouldn't put it past him to notch another one up, especially here at a short track.
Unfortunately for him, every time I show up to one of these things, he's always coming from the back or getting wrecked and all that other good stuff. Well, not other good stuff, bad stuff, so.
Well, you're saying I should have been paying closer attention to the habits of
you
your
put it
presence.
together, not me.
All right. Warm-up is now over, so we're going to wait for the grid to come up here on our screens. Then we're going to call you the main event. Jared Barclay is going to be sitting... Oh, excuse me. It's populated differently. Travis Henderson is going to be sitting on pole.
Hey, somebody should have picked him to win.
Yeah, there you go. And Derek Holshausen is going to be starting in second. Inside of the second row, it'll be Brian Bennett. He's known for being pretty good in the Pacific Majors on the ovals. Same thing with Taft Baldwin. He's going to be starting in fourth. Brian Barnes, he's a good ringer in these short tracks. He's going to be starting in fifth with Brandon Chappelle in sixth. Lionel Kalisto, my pick for the day. He's starting in seventh with Richie Hearn in eighth. Richie, a bit of a favorite here on GSRC. Let's see how he can fare out there. Yet to get a win, though, on the Pacific Majors. Trevor Vrosky is going to be starting in ninth, and Brandon Trossel will be rounding out the top 10, Bill.
Row 6 is one of our GSRC colleagues, Michael Smith. We call him Smitty. Rob Gall outside of him in row 6. Michael Thompson and Jared Barclay in 14th. Now, it says Jared's from Carolina. I'm not sure if that's right. Michael Lane and Matthew Thurnhorst. Jeff Stabnow and Thomas, I'm going to call it Lavadlade. I'm not going to go with Lovelady on that one. Lavadlade. Ethan Moore, David Williams in, there you go, take it over. I'm down, I passed my spot.
David Williams in the blackjack position. James Wyckoff there in 22nd, 23rd to Nick Hunt. 24th to William Fletcher. Joshua Wolf in 25th. 26th to Wayne Hutchinson. Ray Partridge in the 27th spot. Fellow aptly named person, Brian Helm in the 28th spot. Chris Pence in 29th. And 30th is Mark Walls.
Then it's Ryan Toma in 31st, followed by Mike Franklin 32nd, Ryan Worley in 33rd, and Dennis Fusen in 34th. Bob Beltrami 35th, Clark Archer 36th, and Stephen Paulison in 37th. So that is going to be our field for today. Pace car is already leading them around. We've got half a lap. Then we go racing for 300 laps, 150 miles around this short circuit. Coming through 3 and 4 now. Going to be Henderson who has control as the pace car peels off on his outside. Holzhausen watching, making sure that he gets a decent jump, and he gets a great jump on the leader, just holding to the outside, not getting a black flag, and he might be able to sneak in, but no, he loses the opportunity as Bennett gets up inside of him through 1 and 2, and now Bennett is going to be into second place.
Car to watch, number 70, stuck on the high side. They back up a little bit.
Callisto nose first into the wall.
Well, that's about the earliest I've seen the commentator's curse happen.
Way to go, Joe.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened in the replay here.
It was the 44 checked up back into the 4. Chappell checked back up into Brian Barnes, and Barnes checked up and got into Callisto, and that was what put Callisto in the wall.
Good. I mean, nobody hit him.
It looks like Trevor Vavroski is the one that got into the back of Callisto, punted him around. We're going to see it on the replay here. That's the Texaco car. Just gives him a nudge, and that was enough to send him to the inside. Now, they do have the spare car, but this is very early to be using it.
I would not want... Yeah, I wouldn't want to burn that up on lap 2.
Now, what was interesting was Holzhausen, before that caution, he was actually about to lose third as well. Taft Baldwin was looking on the inside of him, but that riding shotgun machine was not able to get its number 5 up into third position as we come back to live now.
And then fans of Jeff Stabnow, that car was smoking. I was trying to find a car running around the tracks smoking, and it looks like if we can pull up a replay, it was kind of a bizarre incident. If you can find that, Mr. Director Extraordinaire.
I think it happened at the same. Yeah, it happened at the same time.
And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Looks like the number 19 oversteered the car into the front stretch pit wall.
Yep. It was the
Jeff
19
now. I'm trying to pull it up here.
There we go.
We still got some time.
Callisto down low, and it's like he jumps on the binders really quick, and poof.
And you know, I think, Brian, that's a symptom that we see in this series is drivers who aren't completely used to these cars quite yet do things that might seem habit in other types of racing, but in this one you don't do.
And we talked to him in the intro, or the kind of the middle ground there. George Wood handing out already a penalty to Lionel Callisto, end of line.
Interesting. Wonder why they've given him one.
I mean, he was already end of line anyway, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, back out front, Travis Henderson in control of the field. He gets onto the loud pedal, green flag back into the air here at 5 flags. Gets a great jump, going to get himself some distance, but going off into turns 1 and 2. We've got Bennett on the outside. He's going to get a great run. Oh, and he catches the wall just a little bit, but he's going to still be under attack for that second position by Derek Holthausen.
Holthausen thought maybe he could sneak inside. I was going to say that Bennett got a great run off that corner. Too good a one, it turns out. Looks like he's able to continue, but he's got to have a little bit of damage on the outside of the car. That was a hard lick.
Well, in my track guide, I said that the best way to get off a turn 2 is aim for that star.
Okay, that's 3-1
situation.
That's Rob Gall.
Did they keep it pointed the right direction?
Wow.
Yep.
We're going to look at the replay. I saw that happening in the corner of mine. We got a caution.
It's on the front stretch.
Let's look at this first. This is 3 wide going down into turn 3. Gall on the outside gets a little bit of a tap, manages to hold it together. That caused the checkup behind him.
Big shunt
now,
here.
Who was involved in that?
Paulison is definitely one of them. Getting in from the transfer races. That's 2 riding shotgun cars.
It's Mike Franklin's the other one.
Sneaking through.
A number of cars. In fact, one on its lid. Looks like the number 24 of Toma. And yes, indeed, Callisto snuck through. Let's get an on board of Ryan Toma. Oof. He got absolutely launched. Let's look at this. Starts to happen in front of him. Oh, and we switch to the rear view here. Oh, and that's what turned him over, is getting hit from behind.
And there you see, when he was upside down, you see what the world looks like to Australians. Sorry.
Yeah, that was the car of, it looks like, Jeff Stabnow, actually.
Gentleman, Callisto on pit road right now, looking to get some tires and maybe some damage fixed. He's already lost 1 lap.
I think that all started when Franklin got into the back of Ryan Worley, the car number 033. Worley has a big crunch put in the back of his car.
Some guy's already burning a fast repair, I think. The 14, the 24, because those cars are now spotless.
Yeah, I think some guys
going the old school way. He's trying to save that fast repair. He's rolling now.
They do have the lucky dog, so I think Callisto's banking on a lot of race being left and having an opportunity to try to get back into this thing if he can just keep his nose clean.
Yeah, and if I was him, I would take this restart in 3rd gear and just get the heck away from the back of the pack. Just run your own race, get away, that you know they're going to pile up again. I mean, we're on lap 13 with the 2nd caution, so...
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one. A number of cars already a lap down here.
I have done it many times myself.
Only 30 cars still on the lead lap. Stephen Paulson being the last one in the number 58. Still out there. We're going to see many, many cars go a lap down as these 300 laps go by on only a half-mile oval. So expect the competitors able to get that win to become fewer and fewer as time goes on. We're now on 1 lap to go as they get double file. Travis Henderson going to lead the way. Brian Bennett on the outside. Derek Holzhausen, he tried to get it back last time. Can he be just as aggressive and maybe make it stick? So come up to 3. That's Taft Baldwin in that riding shotgun machine in 4th. Pace car is in. Henderson has control. Gets a nice jump over Bennett. Once again, Bennett having a hard time getting down. There's Holzhausen to the inside. Can he carry the momentum off the corner to keep it down in 2nd position? Not quite. It looks like Holzhausen is fighting back around the outside. This is P2 up for grabs.
Side-by-side battle now, working their way down into turns 1 and 2. Holzhausen going to give up a little bit in the middle, but he's going to get that run back off. The door still open, but it not very much for longer. Brian Bennett slams the door, gets into 2nd spot, and now Derek is going to be under fire from Taft Baldwin. Brandon Chappelle, who's at the 30 machine. There's Michael Smith lurking around back there too.
Vavroski gets a position as he sneaks inside Chappelle. Chappelle under threat from Richie Hearn, who's looking inside, trying to get the run off the corner, but can't quite get past his teammate. A little bit farther back, we got some side-by-side racing. Michael Lane on the inside of Brandon Trossel. Can't quite squeeze over yet. Now he's clear up to the high side. Trossel tries to come back at him, but it's going to be too little too late as he pinches down Matthew Thundhurst.
Yeah, Trossel running in 13th, stuck on the high side. Same with that blue car right behind him of Sean Beatsman is up there, the 64 machine.
Slipping down further and further. We keep seeing illustrated time and again. You do not want those even numbers on the restart.
Something else I'm noticing, it looks like Derek Holzhausen is maybe holding up the guys behind him, because all of a sudden there is a gap to 2nd, and then there is beyond a gaggle and a half of cars all lined up, just maybe waiting to get around. Now, Derek looks like he's stretching that out a little bit. Maybe the setup needs a couple laps to get going, but I don't know, he's not running too far away.
That monster checkup put Richie Hearn to the high side. He's now got Smitty down on the inside, number 27, seeing if he can get past the former IndyCar driver. Can't carry the speed off the corner, but now finally down into turns 1 and 2. It looks like he's got him clear if he wants him. Yes, he does.
That's Brian Barnes tucking in underneath the familiar blue popsicle machine, number 4 car. Gets that position as well.
Yeah, I think you're right that Holthausen is really causing a train here. Behind him, that's Taft Baldwin, who's trying to find a way past but can't quite find an opening. How long can this last before this just incredible stack up leads to an incident? Look at how close Vavroski gives a little bit of a hello to Taft Baldwin.
That was just a, hey, I'm here, I'm just letting you know.
Time and again, I see drivers looking to get on the loud pedal coming off of these corners and just unable to do so. Look at this. We got the popsicle car of Barnes going high once again, under threat. Richie Hearn sticks it down to the inside. Can he try and get past that number 4 car? Can't keep the momentum going off the turn, though. Right now, this is our closest racing up in the top 10 that we've got. Bennett and Henderson have a little bit of a gap, and they're all on their own up there in 1 and 2.
Everybody is single file right now.
We're probably a couple laps away from the what I would call the conveyor belt starting. Travis Henderson, he's got about a 2-car length, or a 2/10 lead over Brian Bennett. But looking just up the track, he's going into turn 1 now, and middle of the backstretch is where the 19 of Jeff Stabnow, Bob Beltrami, Archer, Fusion, that's where all those guys are running. So going to be probably another 10 to 20 laps before it's just going to be one solid line of cars around this 5-flag speed. Well, Bennett getting onto the loud pedal, having to chase it around.
Manages to hold it together to number 71, though probably making those tires a little bit angry, and you can see the gap that this has allowed Henderson over his competitor in second place. Behind them, though, Holzhausen still holding everybody back, and this is just getting ridiculous at this point. The gap is now 1.2 between second and third.
Yeah, that's who's that back there? Is that Richie Hearn at the end of the line? No. Yeah, I mean, pretty much of that front pack there. That's where that line is. So that's second to ninth, or third to ninth, all pretty much underneath a blanket. Looking around, you probably could go further back, but it seems like every other lap, though, the 238 machine of Derek, he gets away a little bit, and then the 5 of Taft pulls him right back in.
Makes me wonder if it's just slightly different driving styles that's causing them to have these awful accordion effects down into the corner.
Yeah, I was listening to our director. Yeah, I'm going back to my pick for the race, Matthew Thurnhorst. He's back there in the 13th spot, and he's a part of this.
Yeah, essentially it's non-stop down to there.
Let's go quickly back to 31st position, because Lionel Little Train Callisto, he's doing it on the high side, he's doing it on the low side. He just went around the top of Ray Partridge.
And he's the highest car lap down as well.
Yeah, he is coming. Callisto is just on the move.
Not too surprising considering the speed that we saw from him in practice. Just ahead of him, though, we got a battle going on. Wyckoff looking to the inside of Nicholas Hunt, unable to do anything with that as Hunt is able to streak away out of the corner.
Battle for the 12th position. Matthew Thurnhorst finally trying to get a run underneath the 62. Contact there! Oh, this is going to cause a stack up.
Everybody kept their heads together. Only Michael Lane had a turnaround and actually hits the wall on the inside of pit lane there.
That was, I don't think that was intentional.
I don't think it was either. I think that was just he saw an opportunity and Lane was high.
Yeah, I think Lane was cutting down just a little bit to try to get a better run off the corner and just maybe misjudged where the 98 was, and I think the 98 maybe misjudged where the 62 was. So a little bit, we'll call that one a 50-50.
Yeah, I got a real good look at that one. I think they both one went down into, the other one came up into him.
Yeah, more importantly, Lionel Callisto, you were just talking about him before that. He is the first car 1 lap down, and he is going to get the wave around. Travis Henderson, our leader on pit road.
Ooh, big development there.
Probably, I don't know. I like being safe out front.
I would say the same thing, but he's had the pace. Question, does he have the experience on these short tracks to know if this is the right decision for him. Can he handle the traffic? He's still stationary. Looks like he's got a bit of damage, actually. Did he hit something?
Yeah, that's the he's just narrowing up the right side. Looks like he's gonna get some of that fixed, and then he's gonna get rolling here before he loses a lap.
Yeah, exactly. But he's back out. This is gonna give it to Brian Bennett then, who was hounding him for quite a while. That'll give him some clean air. Derek Holthausen is gonna get bumped up into second.
Now Holthausen, this is going to be an interesting development because Holthausen was holding up that line, and now he is up onto the top lane of the track, where everybody and their grandmother knows that you don't want to be up there on a restart here.
Well, it was a train behind him, and it's going to be a freight train on the inside of him. In a second, I have a feeling. We're hearing a penalty here, potentially.
So they're going to penalize the 62 for not giving proper room.
That's the one. Is that the battle we just looked at?
It was
Yep.
Michael Lane, who got turned around in the first place, so
My 2 cents
insult to
is
injury there.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm not an admin of the series.
But they have their rules to go by. They've got the letter of the law, and they've got to go by that, so... They're getting instructions on how to serve these penalties, as now we're coming to 1 lap to go. We got a couple cars. Did they beat the pace car out? Looks like they did. All right.
Barely did, but they did.
Yeah, that was awful close with 1 lap to go to green here. They should be able to get back up to the line in time.
Well, now Kalista's on the lead lap. Let's see where he goes with this one, and we're not going green.
They wanted them to catch up.
Yeah, yep. Getting some of those cars out back, caught up to the back of the pack.
So your order, once they do go back to green, Brian Bennett in first, Derek Holzhausen in second, Taft Baldwin now up in third, Trevor Vovrosky in fourth, Brandon Chappelle in fifth, Michael Smith in sixth, Brian Barnes in seventh, and Richie Hearn in eighth, as they've kind of been slotting around. That's screwing up my timing and scoring. Thomas Lovelady was given an EOL as well.
Either way, though, it's time to see what's going to happen here on this restart. They're postponing it again as the pace car defies physics.
That was an interesting moment. At least it was able to pull out.
Yeah, that's... well then.
Sounds like they're taking time to make sure that they got the penalty right.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it sounds like. Well, here we go. We're going to line up and stack it a third time. Roof pace car going to hit pit road, and it looks like he's going to stay there because Bennett's going to be onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. He's going to get away, and so is Derek Holzhauser. He's going to get that second spot going into turns 1 and 2, but he's got the 5 of Taft Baldwin all over the rear bumper of that machine.
And Baldwin has got to be kicking himself that he wasn't more aggressive on that start. That was his chance to get past Holthausen, who's been a thorn in his side for a long time. Meanwhile, Trevor Vovrosky looking good. We got a caution. David Williams, I'm hearing, is involved in that one. Former driver champion in this series. It looks like he got tipped. Number 64 of Sean Breitzman.
They got him once and then a little extra help.
Wow.
Did anybody else get involved in that one?
No. Someone got a little clip. Oh, who's that up on the wall?
The 027.
That's Ethan Moore.
And then there's the 19. I think the 19 needs to go down pit road and adjust his brake bias. I think he's got a little too much rear brake dialed into that thing because every time he jumps on the brakes, it turns sideways.
Maybe he just likes it loose on entry.
Brian Bennett has hit pit road.
Oh, Bennett was our leader, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
So why are we seeing the leaders repeatedly in?
I have a feeling. His favorite Three Dog Night song is "One Is the Loneliest Number." because he is the only one of the top 20 that hit pit road.
Well, we saw this exact thing before with, I'm trying to remember, it was Henderson, wasn't it?
Yep, and here's Henderson going back to
he's
pit
in
road
again.
I think Henderson's been getting some of the damage fixed on the side, because now that right side of that machine looks a lot better than it did the first time we saw it. Also, Lionel Kalisto on pit road again. Looks like he's getting some more damage fixed. Or
Well,
did he? No, he hasn't taken his quick repair yet.
Yeah, he got his lap back, but he didn't pit last time, so he's coming in pitting from the back.
Looks like he just topped off the fuel really quick.
Yeah, the guy you want to watch out for is Joshua Wolf. He and Henderson, those are the guys who came in that stopped before this. He's leading all the cars who've pitted right now, running in 18th position.
And now you've watched Josh race in the WSU series. Do you think there's anything from that series that he's pulled that is going to help him here?
Yeah, these guys put in a lot of practice time. Wolf and Henderson were both talking. These were the guys who said their strategy was to come in more often than not and not let the tank get empty. So I think that's what they're doing. You can see Henderson sacrifice the lead to come in to keep a non-empty tank.
Certainly seems to be the place, and as you said, he's been coming in time and time again on these cautions. This early in the race, there's really not much to lose, I guess, because you have time to try and climb your way back through the field. But as Brian keeps pointing out, being farther back makes you very susceptible.
Yeah, I know how I would have run this race if I was in the driver's seat and not up here in this cozy booth. I would have taken this thing to about the furthest extent of the fuel that I could, brought it down pit road once, and then told the crew, all right, guys, you're done. Hit once. I mean, because you could either split it right down the middle and kind of hope that way. But that's, to me, that would have been the way that I would have done it. But again, I'm up here, not down there.
It's always easier to be the armchair quarterback, but right now, Derek Holzhausen is going to take the lead. He's been holding up a train the whole way. Let's see how he can handle on the restart as the pace car peels in. The number 238 has control. He's keeping him back a long time. Gets a good jump to make sure that Taft Baldwin can't get him. Meanwhile, Baldwin able to slot back into second just ahead of Trevor Vavrovsky, who outruns Chappelle.
I'll tell you what, that 30 is going to be a shot at this thing before it's all said and done. That car just looks good. It looks sporty through the corners.
Vavrovsky's another one from the WSU series, if I'm remembering correctly.
Trevor Vavrovsky.
I mean, the car does kind of look like it's a little deformed on the front end, because I believe he was the one that caught Kalisto, if I'm not mistaken.
2x2 back from 11th. They got to get this sorted out. Cars on the high side are trying desperately to get down in. The 314 machine of Michael Thompson stuck on the high side. The 35 gets underneath them now. That's Barclay. Now the 04 trying to get underneath him. Now he finally gets it down.
Yeah, now he's got it in there just behind them. There's still
battle
two
for
wide.
second. Here comes Vavrovsky. He got a good run off a 2 underneath Taft Baldwin. Baldwin up on the high side where he doesn't want to be right now. Ooh, door's not quite closed there, but here goes Trevor. Move him up to the second spot.
Oh, and look at Smitty sneaking on the inside of Brandon Chappelle. This is for fourth position. Very quick move from him, but he made it stick and did it cleanly.
Yeah, he's going to get the spot and get away there from the 44 of Chappelle, but we got a caution again. I don't know either.
Michael Lane, I believe.
Oh, and that was, well, remember,
Clark
kids,
Archer, one of our transfers.
He was up there in the top 10, got that end of the longest line penalty, and now this, you get back. Oh, wow.
It's a hard lick onto that Armco.
I don't have an angle here, but to me, I'm going to call it. Looks like Michael got up into the back and turned Clark.
I was going to say Clark Archer needed to be way higher up the track there.
That's not the lane.
Well, that was the lane into the side of him. I thought you set me up for that one intentionally.
I kind of did. Michael Lane
watch it one more time from Archer.
Maybe we can go one more time. A good one to look from if we can go one more time, Director. Maybe from inboard Chris Pence. This is from right behind the guys. Because I'm going to stick to my call here that that Archer was in a line and got turned. Let's see. Look at the cars directly ahead. Ooh, maybe not from that angle.
From that angle, it certainly looked like Archer came down.
Yeah.
Clark Archer has been given an EOL penalty, so George Wood saw it the way that we saw it.
Sorry, Clark, I was on your side for a little bit till I saw that in behind the car shot there.
Yeah, Marshall's got on the radio saying he did not give enough room. Well, Ford EcoBoost is going to need some repairs, and then it'll be able to get back out and try and be a little bit competitive. Still a long ways to go. Only on lap 59. If you're just joining us, this is the Snowball Derby presented by Sticker Shack. It's round 1 of the 2017 Pacific Majors. Your leader right now, Derek Holthausen. He's been leading for about 13 laps now, with Trevor Vovrosky, 14 laps now. Trevor Vovrosky in second, Taft Baldwin rounding out the podium. We're under, gosh, I don't even have a count on our cautions. Michael Smith is in fourth, and Brandon Chappelle rounds out our top 5.
Fifth caution for 25 laps.
All right. Lap 60, that's not too bad, actually.
That's half the race, basically.
Oh, well, that's true.
17th position, Joshua Wolf and Ryan Worley. Those guys are 17th and 18th. They're your two drivers who've made a pit stop fairly recently compared to the other guys. They are running ahead of Thomas Lavelade. I'm going with Lavelade till I hear different. Not saying Love Lady. Nobody is
We will.
Love Lady.
Okay. We've got them 2 by 2. There we see the number 60 trying to get back into line. And as they come down to 3 and 4, Holtzhausen going to be able to lead them away once again. Pace cars in. Vovrosky to the outside. What can he do? He's been strong most of the race. And he can slip down to the inside if he wants to, and he does. Taft Baldwin in third. Michael Smith gets single file. And it looks like Richie Hearn is going to be the one caught out on the high side. He manages to get low.
It's like that car doesn't want to come down for him.
Yeah, it kind of looked like it was just kind of hanging out in the middle.
Might like that middle line. We got a caution.
It's Lionel Kalisto.
This has not been his race. I think there's something to your theory here, Brian.
You know. Oh, contact. Oh. I don't even know if you can call that contact.
It's just a slight brush by Travis Henderson.
That?
I think their tires got together, actually.
It's almost
look at the way, if we can get a slow-mo on the replay on Kalisto, watch the way his car hops. It's really unusual.
Yeah, I mean, these tires aren't that exposed.
Yeah, it took a jump out of there. I would be arguing if I was Travis Henderson, I'd be yelling net code on that one.
Oh, no.
He's getting a warning.
Warning number 1. Yeah, because they're seeing it from the aspect of that he did blow that corner.
Shouldn't have been there anyway, yeah.
Yeah, the number 2 was pretty high.
Whether it's net code or not.
Let's watch on board here for the California driver.
I think he just went in there to try to fill the hole caught where the apron met the track, and it just set the car right up the track, and unfortunately, that's where Lionel was.
Remember, Travis was our pole sitter, so this is going to hurt.
Well, to be honest, any fans of the WSU know that was a little bit of the Wild West out there. There was rules and justice were hard to find sometimes in that series, and maybe Travis Henderson getting a taste of some on-track justice right now.
I tell you what, though, actually, I love them having these live marshals. I think this is going to cut down a little bit on some of the post-race complaining about people's races being ruined and whatnot. I think this is going to at least make people feel like there's some sort of order, like you were saying, Bill.
And in our mid-race interview there, they were saying, we may go an extra lap or 2 under yellow to get it right. That's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, that is absolutely refreshing. Well, thankfully, it's a short track, so
yeah,
it's not like they're at Road America.
Yeah, or Nürburgring.
Oh, God, I don't think I've seen cautions be on at the Nürburgring. I don't think you can do that. Actually, interestingly, in real life, when they do cautions, they only do it in sections of the track there.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so let's see if we can get this started one more time. That was a very short run. Kalisto sneaking his car out to try and get back in a line here.
Let's see Holzhausen. He's been able, now that he's been in control on the bottom side of the track, he's been able to kind of get away just a little bit each and every single time. But we will see here as they work their way through turn 4. Roof pace car hits the pit road. He's going to hit the loud pedal here. And there he goes. Green flag back into the air. This time, Trevor didn't get that great of a restart, but he's still going to get a good run off of the top of turn 2 and try to close that gap up to Derek.
Boy, Derek just was shot out of a cannon. As soon as he hit the gas, that car was gone. We got a little bit of too wide farther back in 9th position. That's Brandon Trossel on the high side.
I was just going to say, he was going to try to go and earn himself the lead the hard way. That 30 machine was poking out to the high side of the 238, but now still under fire.
Derek, if you're just joining us, has been holding up a train of cars pretty much any time we've seen green flag racing, and this is no different. Favroski, Baldwin, Smith, all behind him, stacked up, and look at Favroski right on top of him. He sticks his nose into the inside. This is a battle for the lead. The number 30 has the inside. 238 tries to carry the momentum up to the high side. A little bit of a low move for Trevor Favroski on the straight, but he doesn't lose too much time. He's still on the inside, keeping just a nose ahead. Is he going to lead a lap? Lost traction coming out of 4, and unfortunately that cost him. Still has the inside line. This is not over yet. Taft Baldwin has that popcorn position. Keeping watch, waiting to see how this is going to play out between them. Probably going to try and stick his nose in on Derek Holthausen, and now finally the number 30 has it done. Put the 3-0 into the lead.
That was a very hard-earned battle for the lead. He's going to come away with it, and the caution is out again.
Pence.
Walls.
Chris Pence and Waltz.
The 014 of Pence tried to come down. It looks like Waltz's number 25 was there when he didn't expect it.
Now, was Waltz one that came in from the last chance? Ooh, look at Peltrami there. He got real close.
He was very lucky. He was right on the outside of all of that and just snuck by. I think Beltrami has to have a 3-screen setup or something. The way that he knew to stay high, to me, says that he saw something happening there.
He used the force.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's watch on board.
Bennett and Bretzman on pit road as well.
Yeah, Betzman almost got caught up in this one as well.
You might be going for a change of pants.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're on the right side of the car from this end car, but from there you just could not see the accident happening.
You just go high and hope for the best. Exactly what he did, and that's exactly what that situation calls for.
Served him well. Getting some chatter from David Williams, obviously a little bit bored of the caution laps.
I wouldn't poke the admins.
Williams known for being a little bit more into the road racing. He's been trying to get better at the oval stuff, and I think last year, I want to say he kept out of the Oxford race, didn't he? I think he took a pass on that one.
Kalisto back on pit road.
Williams was the 2015 champ, so he has got a gap if he can make it back again this year, but the 01 has certainly not been having the best of opening races. You know, one thing I like that they've introduced this year, Bill, is that the drop week is one road and one oval. I really feel like that forces you to not, just take a couple bad weeks.
What happened before was you would make all of your specialties, and then you would just blow off the stuff you were not good at. This way, you've got to be at both places. I want to point out, I don't mean to keep, beating a dead horse here, but Joshua Wolf in 13th position now, and he's already made that stop. So even if the leaders come in, he could come in and have a shorter stop and maybe get the lead that way. This is interesting. Wolf and Woolley.
So you're saying that Joshua Wolf is hungry like the wolf?
That's.
I was going to go in the direction of everybody else needs to be afraid of the big bad wolf, but anyways.
I like mine more.
Nah.
Looks like, judging by his last pit time, he took fuel only on his last stop. 10 seconds. That screams to me a fuel only stop.
All right, we're coming around 3 and 4. Roof pace car getting ready to peel in. The number 30 of Vavrovsky. This is the first time we'll see him take the restart in the lead. Gets a decent jump over Taft Baldwin. Baldwin can jump down if he wants to, and he really should, but it looks like Derek is going to get a nose in. Could he lose this spot once again and be stuck behind that 238 for what seems like the millionth time?
Trying to get that run. Golly, he's trying to get it wound up up there in that third, or about the second groove, but it's just not working.
The 238 makes it stick, moving back up into P2.
Watch
Still,
out for
the number 5's not done with him. Everybody pretty much single file in the top 10. Got Matthew Thunhorse stuck up on the high side in 10th right now. It looks like he's going to lose that to Jared Barclay. Number 35 sneaking down to the low side. And just look at this. There is no room at the end. Thunhorst searching and trying and waiting for something to open up, but cars are streaming by. We've right on board with Thunhorst, looking down at that number 65. Can't move down quite yet. He might have a gap if he can get in down below there, but it closes in once again. The 314 is now there. That's Michael Thompson.
Bit back there, but looks like 98's going to slot in right there behind Mr. Wolf there.
Finally stops the bleeding. You have to spare a thought for Taft Baldwin. This has got to be the most frustrated guy out on the track right now. He can see the leaders start to streak away. Vavrovsky getting himself a beautiful gap, almost a second now over second place.
I'm wondering before how much longer is the front bumper of the number 5 going to meet the rear bumper of the 238.
Oh, he's going to meet the black flag of George Wood if that happens.
Just nudge him out of the way. That's all he needs.
Look at how close they're getting behind him. Smitty almost getting into the back of Brandon
Smitty checks
Chappelle.
up. It's Richie Hearn having to check up, and now Richie Hearn going to take advantage of that checkup. He's going to try to take the 5th spot away from Smitty, who tried to slam the door. Didn't quite work because Brian Barnes was there to get a foot in the door as well.
And Smitty squeezes it into the impossible spot that number 27 somehow finds himself some room. And I tell you what, I think that is the oval experience of Smitty coming out. He's done these short track racing, and he knew just exactly where to put that car. And also, I feel like he knew when to give it up. When he saw Richie Hearn stick that nose in, he didn't fight that too hard.
He came over the mic and said, "Sorry about that, guys." Don't know if he was talking to Richie or the man he came down in front of there, Hutchinson, but all forgiven.
Guys, I think there might be something amiss with that number 2 machine. Just kind of judging by the lap times. He's at a 30. Okay, no, he about evened out. I just glanced up at my track map, and he is the last car in front of the leader. Now, he's got a couple second advantage, but it's a little too close for comfort, I would imagine, for the driver of that number 2 machine.
Yeah, I'm not sure that car's feeling all that good right now.
Yeah, remember all the times he had to stop in for repairs. That doesn't even guarantee that the car will handle perfectly, even if you take everything.
I still think he does have a quick... Well,
yeah,
I don't know. That car looks spotless now.
Joe, we've seen Lionel do this before, though, where it'll be a junker that he'll nurse that around for 3/4 of the race, and then the last quarter he gets a new car, and all of a sudden here he is.
Well, he did that at Bathurst of all places as well. Boy, that battle for second is not over yet. Baldwin has backed off a little bit. But he's just kind of sizing up that number 238, trying to figure out where the chink in the armor is.
Yeah, now Derek's been able to move away just a little bit.
Let's go to the number 64 machine. Right now, currently running the 6th position. This guy is making passes on the high side like nobody's business. This is Sean Beatsman. He's picked up 3 or 4 spots just this lap because he can go fast where nobody else can.
Actually, Brightsman is in 25th at the moment. It's a little bit farther down, but as you said, making progress. He's got a little bit of a bee's nest in front of him, though. That's Ethan Moore on the outside of Ryan Toma. These guys want to get that sorted out. Brian Bennett is in there. Remember, he was in second place earlier on in this race before he took an early stop to try and play the strategy card.
And now something worth considering, some of your top 11 drivers have not pitted yet. Now with the fuel savings that they've been able to do, they could probably go 100 to at least 150, maybe 170 on fuel. So these guys could be reaching for pit road at some point in the near future.
Lap 99, just about a third of the way through this 300 lap race.
Well, if they do get to 150, I'm not real good at math, but that would be the halfway point.
That would be correct.
That's Brandon Trossel currently holding down the 9th spot. Number 22, just ahead of Jared Barclay, his teammate. And he's getting a little bit of a stack up behind him. Some cars getting antsy. Matthew Thunderhorse, Joshua Wolf, Thomas Lovelady, and Michael Thompson, all in a row.
I don't want to kind of point out the obvious here, but Trevor Vavrovsky, he's not getting away anymore. In fact, Holzhausen, Baldwin, and Brandon Chappelle, all, and I guess you could even count Hearn, Barnes, Hutchinson, pretty much everybody in the top 10 ran a faster lap time than him the last time around.
I wonder if maybe Vavrovsky came out too hot and has burned his stuff up early on.
Maybe, and then as soon as I talk about it, he runs half a tenth quicker. Oh, put it out. 19.
Paulison. Paulison got some help. That looks
Brian
like tapped him coming in 3.
Where's that 19 machine again?
And Jeff Stab now just about turning it around, getting it woed up.
Jeff, if you can hear me, please just dial some rear brake out of it. I promise. Just move that little needle back just towards the front. And here, speaking of pits, pit road's looking to get a little busy. Top 12, 13, 14, a lot have all rid down pit road with Brian Barnes being the one staying out.
All right, Vavrovsky into his stall. Everybody around him coming in. Vavrovsky was first in. Derek Holzhausen is the farthest up in the second pit stall. Is that going to help him get out? Oh, and Travis Henderson gets into his, and you saw him miss his pit stall. And there goes our leader. Vavrovsky first out, same position for Derek Holtzen. In second, out second. Baldwin in third, out third. Not much shuffling to the order.
No.
I'm seeing, is this old news? Chris Pence was given an EOL. Is that new?
That may be new. The other thing I'm hearing, Trevor Vavrovsky, he's shutting it off under pacing. He came off pit road and got it wound up to speed, and then all of a sudden that car went real quiet.
Interesting that he pitted this early, and yet he's still trying to fuel save. Then,
yeah, I would have.
I wouldn't think that damage on the front is hurting his fuel mileage that much, especially on a short track. Well, David Williams' day has gone from bad to worse. He was asking for a black flag to be cleared. He was told that he entered a closed pit, and they're not gonna honor it for him, apparently. It sounds like he was a lap down and was not aware of oval rules here.
Let's maybe give Brian here a chance to say, I told you so. Let's put the camera on Henderson right now, running in 21st position. Now, why are we going to say I told you so? Well, Henderson was out in front. Remember, he had the lead, and he decided to come into pit. And that's the last we've heard from him.
Yeah,
and right now he's being... I wonder if he picked up... He's going to be last.
Ooh, and... Oh, is it? It is green flag racing.
Well, something, but not everyone got the news.
No, they're trying to get it all thrown around.
Yeah,
and
there's the caution now.
Yeah.
All right, they were all talking and trying to get the order sorted out because there was a driver, actually Henderson, trying to let everyone by as Bill was talking about.
Travis Henderson, shouldn't I get my spot back for everyone passing under the yellow because it was slow to get the green and they got some work to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to see a long caution here, I think.
Yeah, Ryan Toma took advantage and he jumped up once Brian Barnes woed himself down. He just passed him.
Okay, so with them having to sort these guys out, why don't we take a short break and let this caution play out? We'll get back to you with the order once the marshals have done their job. Stick around. We're watching the Snowball Derby presented by Sticker Shack here on the Global Sim Racing Channel.
Hang on, we're not going green, not going green.
Welcome back to Five Flag Speedway. We're about to go back to green flag racing. Unfortunately, the last caution restarted when it wasn't supposed to, and we got a lot of people with black flags. They have now sorted it out. Your leader is going to be Ryan Toma. Brian Barnes will be on the outside of the front row. Trevor Vavrovsky in third. Derek Holthausen in fourth. Oh, and they've called it off one more time. They're still sorting it out. We're a lot closer, I think, though, now, because there's still some chatter over the radio, making sure that every issue has been resolved. There's a few more black flags. They're being cleared.
Don't go far away, though, because your drivers on the front row are out there on tires that are 100 laps old. Everybody else, nice new fresh pair of rubber.
Well, basically, they are the chum in the water, and the cars behind them are the sharks.
Well, let's hope that we can get more than one lap of green here as pace car goes around one more time here. All right, we got word from the marshals. We are going green next time. Now, I said that about 3 times, but the marshals said it, so it's not me lying this time.
And we were talking about Henderson before they went green there the last time. Well, he ended up a lap down, now running in 27th position, so it goes from bad to worse for him.
Yeah, after starting on pole, this is not what he wanted. Meanwhile, Ryan Toma up in P1. He has control of the field, gets a nice little jump. Here comes Vavrovsky on the inside, looking for that second place on the number 4 of Barnes, and I think he's got it.
Someone that did not get a great start, Taft Baldwin, just all of a sudden, he just did not go on that restart. He got swarmed up in the middle of that pack from the number 44, the 70, the 35 is poking around in there now.
In fact, it looks like Baldwin got into the back of Chappelle there a little
Battle for
bit.
the lead.
Yeah, well, it's not really a battle of Vavrovsky with those new tires that are going to make pretty quick work here. Toma does a pretty good job of hanging on there.
Still, he slots back into second. Derek Holthausen now behind him in third. Let's see if he can do anything. That's Brian Barnes back in fourth. He's going to be overtaken by Brandon Chappelle. Sneaks his nose down to the inside at 3 and 4, and I think that's going to be a done deal. But we got a caution.
Richie Hurd in the 70. Partridge not angry or not happy.
Yeah, he lost his lucky dog apparently after some contacts. Number 70 of Hearn was hit by Brandon Trossel.
Whoa! That was enough. That was enough net code to park a bus in. And Taft Baldwin saying he got on the radio and apologized for the stack up because they rode around under caution so long he left it in high gear.
Ah, interesting. And there was 2 separate incidents. There you're going to see Hearn. Yeah, Mike Franklin down low got clipped by Lionel Callisto and then was sent into the pit wall there.
Now Barnes and Toma both on pit road. The guys that stayed out deciding, yeah, we're going to come get tires.
There you're going to see that number 82 just get run into by the number 2. Gets turned the rest of the way around. I'm not sure who that was that got him, but that tire was there to stop him from running into the concrete on the pit entry, but I'm sure it still didn't help the car that much.
And Toma, I talked about this on the stop or the top of the broadcast. Toma, on pit road long enough, he lost his lap.
And he pitted from about, what, second or third in line?
Yeah.
Wow. That is just incredible to see.
Full of fuel, 4 tires. What's the time limit on this event?
It's a good question. Let's look.
Just how long?
All right. We have there we have it on screen for our viewers. 2 hours and 45 minutes
oh,
left.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we can do that.
Can't run 175 laps in 2 hours and 45 minutes. We got bigger issues.
Tell you what, though, with the Pacific Majors running all different kinds of cars and tracks, they have thrown these guys in at the deep end.
Wouldn't surprise me if this one doesn't make it back onto the schedule next year.
And they're not going to punish the 2 that made initial contact, but Lionel Callisto is getting a punishment for getting into the back of Franklin. Was black flagged. At this point, I'm starting to wonder if there's going to be anybody in this race that have gotten by without a black flag at some point.
It's just, you got to survive. That's just what it is. You just simply have to survive. And you're seeing the results of that. I mean, the guys that can hang around, they're the ones that keep cycling up to the front of the field. We've seen Vrosky up there. We've seen Holzhauser, Baldwin, Chappelle. Barclay's the newer name, but he's crept up there. And these guys are showing that you got to make it through this thing to be a threat at the end. Guys like, I lost him already in the rundown. Henderson, they took that early stop, and then all of a sudden they got caught up in the back of the pack with all that other, business going on. And now, Henderson has a huge hole to dig out of. He's the 4th car 1 lap down, and he's got, we're coming back to 172 laps to go this time.
And we are coming back to green as the pace car peels off. Vrosky has control once again. He's led 39 laps. Make that 40 as he gets on the power. Holzhausen, he looks slow at the start, but man, he has been consistently up at the top of this field. Still in second place. We got a battle for third. Brandon Chappelle to the inside of Taft Baldwin. Baldwin gives up the ghost on that one.
You know what? I think Holzhauser's car, I think his setup, it's not that great at the start of the run, but it doesn't fall off like everybody else's.
Baldwin makes it around there, picks up 3rd position on Chappelle.
I think Chappelle gave him a little bit, getting back into the corner, just giving some room.
Ooh, big checkup behind them.
Callisto on the pit road, serving that penalty, I'm imagining.
Seems to be the case. Ryan Worley in a bit of a battle here. He's trying to get by Thomas Lovelady on the outside. That 60 is able to really drive it in deep, keeping Worley at bay.
Callisto in the box now, serving his penalty. Probably a 15-second, I imagine. Nope, just a stop and go. So move Callisto back to 1 lap down.
Yeah, this has been quite a yo-yo. Although, honestly, I can understand him getting that penalty. That was when the caution flies or when something erupts in front of you, you got to be ready to get out of it.
Vrosky's back out front, well in command of the event, leader of the most laps at 44 now.
We've seen this story, though, before, and this looks like the sequel with pretty much the same plot. Vrosky hot out of the gate. Is he going to be reeled in?
Contact between Baldwin and Chappelle.
He saves it, though.
They're stacking up at turn 4. Here we go again. Put it out.
Trying to see who was involved in that.
I think it was Nick Hunt who was checking up and then got tagged by Richie Hearn's guy. But it really wasn't Richie's fault. It was just people checking up.
Yeah, watch. You're going to see the 44 dive in there, and either the 5 didn't think he was there, or the 44 pushed the envelope a little bit. Here's the stack up as everybody's coming out of the corner. There's the 033, the 04.
And miraculously, we only got 2 cars turned around. Hunt and I think that was Brian Worley was the only other car that got turned around. A couple of cars made door-to-door contact. Really not too bad for what could have been a much bigger wreck.
You know, stab now, Jeff.
Boy, he hit the brakes again. The car
he hit the brakes again. It went the other way. You got to dial some rear brake out of it, man.
Well, to be fair,
you are killing me, Brian.
To be fair, the 04 started to pull out right in front of him. So
can somebody out there in the chat can hear me, can relay a message, just knock like 3% from the rear to the front, and I think that should fix his issue.
I'm gonna send you out to be his crew chief if this keeps going there.
Well, if I keep talking, I'm gonna get a not very nice letter in my email box, I think.
All right, so our order now on lap 139. Vavrovsky is still your leader. Derek Holtzhausen has been holding it down beautifully in that second position. Brandon Chappelle, he had to fight very hard for that third. In fact, made a little bit of contact with, I believe it was Bennett that we were talking about earlier that he ran into.
You're talking about Chappelle. He just got an EOL for the contact between he and Baldwin.
Oh, there we go. And it was Baldwin that's who I was thinking of. Thank you very much.
He's going to go from the third spot all the way out back. And
that goes back to what you were talking about, Brian, that you got to keep it clean, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm. And I think you got to put a little bit on the 44 there, because I mean you're not even halfway yet. You can't try to make a gap that isn't there. I mean, that was they both dove into that corner real deep, and I think the 44 just wasn't expecting the 5 to fight that hard.
Well, and as he's working his way backwards, he just went past Taft Baldwin. That's got to feel like sweet justice for the number 5. She sees him.
I'm sure there's a big smile underneath that helmet, and maybe a one-finger salute out the right side. No, anyways, back out front. Vroom, Vavrovsky. I can't get used to saying that. I'm just going to keep saying Vavrovsky. Vavroom. There we go. He's going to lead the field back around with the roof pace car. Going to be hitting pit road this time. There's some commotion out back, but here he goes onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. Back underway at 5 flags. He gets a great restart. Holzhausen's going to fall in line, and now...
Oh, big incident coming up behind them. That's Trossel. A lot of cars getting involved. This is going to be a big one.
There's the 14, Beltrami.
Joshua Wolf got upside down.
And Baldwin was involved with that
and
as
Stamp
well.
now made it.
Looks like that started with Trossel. He came down a little bit on Wayne Hutchison. And then the car just zipped back up, and poor Taft Baldwin had nowhere to go. T-boned him.
Car low.
Beltrami, meanwhile, was spinning to try and avoid. Actually, he got helped around, it looks like, by a riding shotgun machine.
Now Trossel, Wolf, Baldwin all on pit road. I'm assuming most of them are going to be getting a quick repair here. I think Baldwin actually had to take a tow. Yeah, because that car's sitting on pit road smoking. He's going to go multiple laps down. It's going to be hard for Baldwin to get back into that one, I'm imagining.
Let's see if we can get an onboard with Clark Archer, number 29. He didn't get out of it scot-free. He made a little bit of contact, but he got pretty lucky making it through most of this stuff. Watch this. There's the restart. And it's going to start to erupt behind him and just threads the needle in a number of situations here. Yeehaw. Riding shotgun machine has an angel riding shotgun, judging by that one. I see Wayne Hutchison was given an EOL from that one. I think that's the only penalty that we're going to see out of that.
And fans of Travis Henderson out there, he is back onto the lead lap. Looks like he's going to be up in about the 13th spot, 14th maybe?
I see 14th on my timing and scoring.
There we go, 14th spot.
On the same pit strategy, the car's ahead of him, so surprise.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me, though. If he gets back through this and they get another caution here, maybe 10, 20 laps, it wouldn't surprise me to see him hit pit road again. Get 50-lap fresher tires than some of the guys around you. That's not a bad advantage to have.
We got 16 cars left on the lead lap out of 36 starters. In fact, do we still have 36 cars out there?
We still have 36 cars riding around.
Brandon Trossel is on pit lane. How do we even have pretty much everybody still out there? I guess they've all been slow speed mostly, but we're going back to green as Vavrovsky has control of the field once again. And nope, we are not going back to green.
Just got a shout out to Todd Granger on our chat. Wolf is pulling out the backup car.
Got a couple cars that are needing to let people by.
People are yelling at each other.
Wolf was upside down. Tad Granger is the series manager of the WSU, not racing here. Must be watching over his boys.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's probably watching over the guys he's got in this race.
Biggest mover, Bob Beltrami, first car one lap down, or at least he was last time I looked. Where are you, Bob?
And I know we talked to Smitty, and he said don't talk about him. I'm just going to mention for a brief second, Smitty up to the 4th position.
It makes it hard when he's in the top 5.
I know. But I totally understand where he's coming from, because you guys cursed me a bunch of times last year.
They're still sorting this out. I'm not sure if they're going green this time by. It sounds like they are. Controls has said they are going green. Indeed, the pace car peels in. Vavrovsky peels away in that number 30. Derek Holthausen is going to have second solidly, but look at this. Smitty is in a bit of a battle. He's going to get clear road down into 4th. That is Jared Barclay just ahead of him. Too wide behind him, though. Sean Brightsman on the outside.
That's where Brightsman likes to run. Soup, you were talking about him earlier. He's making that high lane work.
Yeah, just because he's fast where nobody else can run.
It's the easiest way to pass people. Be fast where they're not.
Looks like he might be losing positions just a little bit. He lost one to Thunhorst. And now Michael Thompson is snuck to the inside. And I don't think he's going to see much room on the low side down behind him with the number 60 of Thomas Lovelady coming through. Oh, did he get the wall on the outside there?
Got real close to it. I think he tried to scare it. He didn't hit it.
Well, unfortunately, Concrete doesn't like to flinch, and yet again, just can't find a slot open.
Yeah, no, Concrete is undefeated to the right side of these cars.
Number 70 trying to sneak in there. That's Richie Hearn. Not going to let him have a spot. And I think behind, oh, there he goes. Now he's able to get inside Richie. But Richie says, no, I still want my nose into this spot. That high side is just not working for Brightsman. He may like it, but it's not looking fast at the moment.
Joshua Wolf serving a penalty.
Brandon Trossel getting a black flag for passing under yellow as well. A number of drivers having trouble. Remember Brandon Chappelle getting that EOL penalty? Well, he is up to 11th. He's already fighting Rob Gall to try and move himself into the top 10. And I think he's going to get it done.
I believe that's what you call a recovery right there.
And look at this. Now on the inside of Rob Gall, Travis Henderson, a former pole sitter. He's coming back through, almost gets into the side of him, gets quite close.
Joshua Wolf came out of the pits right in front of the leaders. He's going to slot into 3rd on track. We'll have to keep an eye on that machine just to see how it might affect some of the leaders around him.
That's Jared Barclay behind Wolf at the moment. Is he going to take to the high side? Looks like Barclay is going to be given the inside if he wants it. Can't quite get the run off the corner, though.
It looks like Wolf he's racing smart. He's just trying to stay well out of the way, but trying to catch what was going on there. I heard some radio chatter.
Yeah, I was trying to listen as well.
William Fletcher has disconnected as well. So now there's 2 down out of our 37 starters.
Fletcher was not happy earlier on in this race. I'm not sure if that was a rage quit or if his car was genuinely wrecked. We'll have to look into that. Meanwhile, I've been noticing Smitty was having some close racing with Thunhorse, but he's able to pull away. Right now, he's the one trying to get on the inside of Josh Wolf and put him a lap down. We are now 161 laps into this 300-lap race. We are past halfway. And look at that conveyor belt you were talking about earlier. Just cars and cars and cars.
And just getting on to the tail end of that is Travis Henderson running in 11th. He was able to run down that train. Another guy to watch out for is running right behind Henderson, and that's Brian Barnes in 12th position. The reason I mention him, he's on 20-lap fresher tires, and he came in, he had a long stop. He came in for fuel. So he's on a totally different pit stop than anybody else, pit strategy, anybody else on lap one, on the lead lap.
And plus, we're fairly certain if this miraculously runs green to the end, he'd probably have enough fuel. Remember, I've been hearing under caution, Gavrovsky's been shutting it off.
Yeah, and there's only one reason he'd be doing that is to think, maybe I can get there.
Side-by-side action in 5th spot. Thunhorst on the outside of Michael Thompson, trying to squeak by. And look at the momentum go to Thunhorst until they get down to the corner.
Wyckoff gets
Partridge
in.
is really not happy with somebody.
Well, Partridge got loose up into Wyckoff, so maybe he feels he was squeezed. Or no, I think he felt he got tapped. That's what I think. He felt he got tapped by Brian Bennett, number 71.
Let's watch it from above. This was 3 wide down through 1 and 2, and I just don't think this was ever going to work.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's Bennett's fault, though. I really think that Partridge got loose. Bennett had nowhere to go to the inside. I don't want to make the call for the race stewards, but it's kind of a tough.
And everybody ducking low to avoid that. Nice job by cars from keeping it, that getting worse. Let's watch it one more time here. A little bit of a low angle.
Lionel Kalisto getting your lucky dog.
I can just hear the friends and family of Partridge yelling at me right now when I make a call like that, but as their driver gets put in the wall.
Henderson hit pit road. Kind of exactly what I was just talking about. He hit pit road, put 4 fresh feel goods on it, probably filled it up full of fuel, and he probably just told the crew, all right, you guys can go eat ice cream
That's
now.
it. We're ready to go.
It's assuming he can keep it clean.
Assuming he can keep it clean, yes.
Few cars heading in for stops.
I was just going to say, Kalisto just got his lap back, so I'm assuming he's pitting to kind of play catch-up there a little bit.
Yes, and your favorite Jeff Stapp now is in there. Hopefully he's working on that dial.
Did it break sideways that he went to pit road because he was getting into the stop?
Oh, man, you can.
No, it looks like he was in there clean. He is going to lose a lap, though.
Well, 3 down. Or no, 6 down. Nope, 10. Helps if I can read.
It's not a prerequisite for a commentator anymore, I take it?
No, I guess not. I just have to talk. I don't have to read. There's a video floating around on YouTube that proves that. Molotov?
Beautiful. All right. Well, our order up at the top right now. Vavrovsky's still been leading. He keeps jumping out at the start, and we haven't had too many long runs for people to try and reel him back in. Derek Holhausen currently holding down second, proving us all wrong. He knows how to keep that car up there. And then we've got Jared Barclay in third with Michael Smith in fourth, and Michael Thompson rounding out the top 5. Pace car peels off. Trevor Vavrovsky leading the way, stacking them up just a little bit, gets a nice run. They're going to go single file, 1, 2, 3, right away.
Looking back there at the middle of that pack, it looks like it's starting to get a little wound up. Who is that? Michael Thompson? Going off the corner. Oh, not Thompson. I'm looking 2 more cars back.
That's Richie Hearn.
Yep, Richie Hearn on the bottom there.
Whoa, but Thompson catches the apron.
Look at that on the top side. Superman. Well, it worked for one corner.
Thunhorst. I think he might actually be able to get this.
That's my pick. Get it.
Oh, number 60 gets a bump.
Elbows up, son. Get some. Clear. Clear, clear, clear.
Lovelady doing a beautiful job keeping that car from turning around. And he is holding it down in 7. More bumping and banging happening behind them. Brandon Chappelle getting the punt from Brian Barnes. Nothing doing there. Both of them able to continue.
Oh, the car that is flying. He just has nowhere to go. Car number 64. He is just, again, on the high side making this work.
There, he's got
John Breitzman.
4 fresh Hoosier radials there.
He's the lead car of all the cars that came into pit. Henderson in the same situation, a few cars on the inside, a couple cars back. But the 64 on the top, he's been doing all night, and now with 4 tires, he's really good as he works around the outside of Gall.
He was all dressed up with nowhere to go, but now that he's been freed and everybody else is single file, he's streaming by around the outside. Look at that.
Strutting his stuff up there.
He would have been able to go around David Williams if David Williams didn't move to the outside. Now he's going to get it.
That's incredible. I've never seen a car work that good around the top here.
I think that's
and
the
now
fresh tires work.
when they check up in front of him, here he goes.
Had to roll out of it there because I think the 4 was starting to creep up the track.
But man, Breitzman,
that's incredible.
Yeah, working brilliantly. He is up to 12th now.
And I think, as Brian pointed out, maybe good to go from here.
Oh, easily good to go on fuel from there. I mean, he pitted, 13 laps ago? Yeah, he's good.
Let's step up to the leaders because we're used to Vavrovsky running away with this thing. Well, guess what? 2/10 between himself and Holthausen.
This is just what I was talking about. I think Holthausen's car doesn't go away. The setup stays really consistent throughout the run. And look at that. He gets a great run off of turn 4. Gets right to the bumper of Vavrovsky. But Vavrovsky's able to keep the gap going into turns 1 and 2.
238 squared off 3 and 4, and it almost paid off handsomely.
He's probably going to try that exact same move again.
Oh, yes, he
Bring
is.
It in.
Oh, here we go. Chappelle got into it. We got him turned around the 44. It was a car behind him. Chappelle got into.
Taft Baldwin is stopped, and it's Nick Hunt.
Yeah, Nick Hunt. They got together. Chappelle was able to keep going.
Yeah, he tapped the rear of him, and that turned the 04 around on the straight. That's all she wrote.
Oh, boy.
And that happened right in front of Breitzman.
Oh, who was that on the top side?
I think that was Baldwin coming to a halt, if that's what you're talking about.
No. We're going to show this again. Yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. So here's the 44 getting in touch with the 04. And then watch right here to the top side. Apparently that wasn't a good corner to have a 4 in your number either. Because the 44 hit the 04 and they happened in front of the 64.
That was the 24 of Ryan
and the
Toma.
4 was right behind it all.
Let's get an onboard from Ryan Toma, actually.
Yeah, watch this. He drifted it.
He actually got pushed through that hole. That wasn't even his doing.
Good God almighty.
Here, watch it on board. We're not going to see it from this angle. He gets shoved from behind. So this is not the way he wanted to go, but it worked out. Look at this. Boom!
4 tires and a change of underwear, I think, is in store for Mr. Toma.
Rather be lucky than good. And number 44 is not happy that he's getting a warning for causing the caution. Brandon Chappelle. Ooh, and he's picking a fight with the marshals, and that's not a fight you're going to win.
Nope. Never win the fight with the admin.
And he's starting to get some chatter back from the other drivers. It's not complimentary. One of these days, if we can figure out how to censor the radio, we need to find a way to get that on air.
Yeah. So this is the 14th caution tonight for coming to 80 laps under caution.
Hey, we've gotten 105 on green, right? That's good, right?
That's, yeah. It's like 60%. We're doing good.
I honestly can't imagine what Chappelle is upset about. He got into the car in front of him.
Race car? No. Soup. Us race car drivers, it's the red mist of war. It's the red mist of war and Grandma's Boy all at the same time.
I guess,
because we get angry, and then like the Grandma's Boy kicks in. That's like, no, we're innocent. I promise.
Yeah, I can understand when you can't see outside your car. I think that's the thing for me, Brian, that always starts to clear it up. When I get out of the car and I look at the incident, a lot of time I'm like, oh, no, I guess it wasn't their fault as much.
Yeah, I mean, there's very often that if someone's chirping at me on the radio, I'll say, hey, I'll talk to you after the race because I want to see what happened.
Yeah,
and then there are times that you are very sure what happened, and you are not afraid to argue your point.
Yes, well, we're about to go green, so hopefully we're not going to have too much chatter here because Vavroski is going to have control once again. Holzhausen on his outside.
I will be curious to see. Holzhausen was just getting close to him before that caution came out. I'll be curious to see if he can get there a lot sooner and if he can make the move stick. I wonder if he made an adjustment on that trip down to pit road that maybe gave a little bit more life to that 238.
Look at the number 60, Lovelady around the outside. He's looking very strong. He's fighting Smitty for this spot. He came from a long ways back. This might be a hard battle to win, but he just might get it. Look at him start to nose ahead. Wow. Lovelady takes a spot around the outside, and it's 4th.
That's just impressive.
I think we're seeing more and more cars with different states on their tires, and that's really mixing it up in the field.
Lovelady's on the same cycle as everybody else, in front of him and around him.
Well, then that's just darn good driving.
That's where that long range setup. Who were we talking to before we got underneath?
That's Fleischle.
Exactly. So I wonder if Lovelady has a really long run setup underneath that machine.
Well, the ironic thing about that observation is Smitty is on the Lions, which is the team that we were talking to, and the number 70 is getting turned.
They may stay green.
Oh, nope, I don't know about that.
Oh!
Nope, there we go. Put it out.
Oh, and Ryan Worley thought he was out of it. More cars piling into him.
Paulison's in it.
Clark Archer was one of the big guys.
Boy, you talk about a chain reaction. So that started with Richie Hearn. You can see it right there. He got tipped by the number 4. And the car that tries to avoid him, that is David Williams. Williams takes evasive action, slides down to the inside, and that causes the number 65 of Josh Wolf to get in to Ryan Worley, who eventually gets the worst of it. He gets turned up the track. Now he's out of the way, and that's when we see a bunch of cars just pile into him. Clark Archer was one of them. Actually, it was a couple riding shotgun cars. Ethan Moore.
Lionel Kalisto on the lead lap. He's on pit road right now, throwing 4 fresh tires at that beast.
And Brian Barnes is getting the blame for the caution. So I didn't quite hear, are they giving him an EOL or is he getting a warning?
seems like a warning because there's nothing in the chat about a penalty yet.
62 is getting a penalty. Who is that? As Michael Lane. This might be an error. He's saying he didn't spin anybody. I'm going back to check to see, because I don't remember Lane being involved in that.
Brian, you mentioned Callisto coming in for fresh rubber. So did Sean Breitsman.
Yeah. And you want to talk about something impressive. Lionel Callisto, on top of everything else that he's accomplished, 11 pit stops tonight.
Yep.
11.
He's making it work.
Whereas Vavrovsky, 1. So we're going to have a tale of 2 races here at the end of this one.
Yep. The director saying 16th for Callisto. Yep. Last car on the lead lap.
Now, Brian Barnes did get an EOL. And Michael Lane is, in fact, given an EOL. It was not involved in the caution.
He is just disconnected. I think that's a rage quit.
I would agree with that one. Okay, well, Vavrovsky on 1 pit. I believe the lights are off. We're double file here. Yes, we are. All right. Number 30, taking control as the chatter continues over the radio. Now it finally goes quiet. Holtzhausen, his traditional spot in 2nd place. Back to it once again. And drivers looking a little bit more controlled on this restart. Everybody got single filed very, very quickly.
Well, there's still 100 laps to go, so there's plenty of... You still can't win the race, but you sure can lose it for yourself.
Check out Travis Anderson. He's looking to the inside of Thunhorst. This is going to be for 7th position. I think he's got that done.
Everybody out there on 94 lap old tires except for Henderson. He's on 15 lap old tires. And then there's Breitsman and Callisto on 2 lap old tires.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on Callisto here.
And 13th right now. He's in a bit of a pack. Nowhere to go, kind of boxed up. Behind Breitsman, who usually likes that high line, but he can't get to it now. They almost went 3 wide there with Callisto on the low side. Now he's got to nose in on Breitsman. We know this. Oh, we got a caution.
Caution is out. I don't know where it's at. Is it the 5?
I think it's...
It looks like...
Oh, hold on. I just saw it.
25, maybe? Waltz?
Yeah, Dennis Fusen, I think? Or no, not Dennis Fusen. Mark Walls.
Walls, yeah.
Oh,
Walls got into the 04, yeah, into Hunt.
Development, Thomas Lovelady, Michael Smith, Matthew Thurnhorst, Richie Hearn, Breitsman, Williams, all have hit pit road, which now gives Lionel Callisto a top 5.
Unbelievable. Now, here's what's interesting about the 04. That's Nicholas Hunt. Remember, he was involved in the last caution. He was the one that was turned around up on the high side, or maybe it was not the last caution, but 2 cautions ago. And he was the one that was being complained about over the radio when a driver got a penalty. I believe it... I'm trying to remember who it was that was given a penalty for turning him. And he complained about Nick Hunt's driving. I'm wondering if this is the same thing that he was talking about, just not liking his line into the corner. Because both times this is kind of involved in that.
Yeah, you're kind of thinking along the same wavelength as me here.
Looking at Breitsman's car, currently running in 17th, last car. It's got some damage. Some good damage on the left-hand side. And on the nose. Boy, it's pretty banged up. And on the tail.
The only spot that looks pretty is about the left rear. I think the short track adage in the racing side of things is if the right side of the car is beat up, you were passing people. The left side of the car is beat up, you were getting passed. And you can see the left side's not that dinged up, but that right side. I was going to say, Travis Henderson, I believe, may have just lost connection.
I think you're right. There's no incident limit on these, so it's not that. His internet gave up the ghost.
Oh, it's back.
He's back.
Now
He's
did-
still on the
now
lead lap.
where did
What
the
I'm saying
timing-
is time and
Yeah,
scoring.
where did the scoring line go? I've got some personal experience with that.
Brian Helms says about Henderson, "You were gone for a long time."
He's still in
the
fourth.
spot.
All right, they're throwing the caution flag out again. They're letting them get sorted out. So we're not going back green this time by.
Henderson and Kalisto on pretty fresh tires. Some of the guys that are going to have to come in, Bobrovsky still needs to make a stop.
I think he's about committed as you can get right now. I don't see that 30 machine hitting pit road again.
Been out there for 100 laps, so I don't know if he can. Well, maybe he can get there.
I mean, at this point now, if he was going to pit, I think he would have done.
Right,
it
he would have
last
done,
time.
yeah.
Now I think at this point, I mean, there's 17 cars on the lead lap, but you put yourself out back like that, you're taking a giant risk.
Doing one more lap under caution after this one, as the marshals have been trying to get the lapped cars toward the back of the field here, nice and clean. And we still have, it looks like, 31 cars running. Mark Waltz has disconnected, so that's our latest victim, I believe.
Clark Archer is disconnected as well.
Bobrovsky with control. He's led 118 laps. In fact, he's led the most of anybody in the field. Holtzhausen on the outside. Oh, big.
Oh, they're stacking up mid-wreck off of the restart.
And Henderson is involved in it. He's turned around. Everyone's managing to sneak by him.
Kalisto got into him, but Kalisto was hit by the 88, I think, that turned him. Yeah, it was Partridge.
Yeah, and Bobrovsky did absolutely nothing wrong in that restart. The 35 went to go and then had to stack up, and then it caused a chain reaction out back.
Kalisto got into that a little bit, slammed on both the left and the right sides. Watching it from Barclay in third here.
See, watch. He tries to make a jump, and then he's got to back off of it.
Yeah, I think that's the culprit.
Yeah. And that's good. I got to give the apology. I've given Partridge a hard time. I don't think Partridge was to blame. Yeah, he caused it.
Oh,
But
no. Guys, Travis Henderson, after all that hard work, that car is crabbing.
Oh. Does he have a quick repair left?
Well, we'll find out in a moment.
That's what we are going to find. That thing is, boy, it's leaving a one-wheel peel down pit road.
I don't think he does.
I don't think he does.
Nope.
Because it would have fixed by now.
Yeah, he does not have that free repair.
No, and his connection's bugging out again, too. He's out of the car.
All right, well, so a little behind the scenes here. They have had some problems with drivers talking during caution, being very, very chatty, which is allowed to an extent in this series. But it was getting so bad that they disabled the driver chat for about 2 minutes there, and now they've re-enabled it. So I think they got the message.
yeah, I'll take a timeout.
So they're not going to penalize anybody. They're saying it just stacked up a little bit on the restart.
The pole sitter. He's disconnected. That's...
I have to admit, I'm a little sad to see that happen because I was enjoying watching him come back to the front. We knew he had a fast car, and I wanted to see what he could do after having to battle his way through the field.
It's just too risky. Any strategy that puts you back there, you're just rolling the dice. That's like Varun Varosky out there in front. He's been out in front. I will stay out in front. I'll deal with the strategy later, but too many bad things can happen to you when you're running 5th through 20th.
Yeah, sometimes gambling is not the way to go. It can get you wins, but it can bite you badly. And that's what it's done in the case of Henderson.
Some race nights, some race nights you're Lucille, and some race nights you're Glenn. Anybody that's a Walking Dead fan, I think, might catch that one.
Got it. Got it.
I am the only one that doesn't get the joke, I think. All
I
right.
don't watch it, but the lady at home does, so that's how I kind of catch these.
I'm sure she'll enjoy that one. So our order, Trevor Vrosky is in the lead, Derek Holtzhausen in second, Jared Barclay all the way up to third. Lionel Kalisto somehow still in fourth, and Wayne Hutchison rounds out the top 5, but we're going to get going green. Come on, guys, let's get it good this time, and it looks like we do. A lot more spread out, less of a jump.
The 35 gave a lot of room on the bottom there.
Yeah, I think he felt maybe a little bit guilty,
he's
but
under
look
attack
at
from
Kalisto.
Lionel Richie Kalisto.
Up into the podium spot. Came back from a lap down multiple times now.
And he's
Unreal.
got the freshest tires of everybody around him. You don't need a stopwatch. You're just visibly watching that 2 cut the time or cut the distance up to that 2:38.
And we always see the same names start to get up towards the top in these oval races. Guys that know their stuff, know how to run these long events. Kalisto looking good. He's now starting to hound Derek Holtzhausen. We got a caution.
It's the 19 on the front stretch.
Oh, we got another one that's Josh Wolf involved.
Yeah, and the 19 just...
Well, he was trying to avoid what was happening ahead of him. It looks like Ethan Moore and Brian Helm got into it.
Yeah.
And we're getting some marshals suggesting that Jeff Stab now maybe should get out of the car. So I think they agree with you there, Brian.
He got on the brakes. It didn't spin.
Well, I think it might be because he's stuck, actually.
No, he's rolling now.
Oh, okay. He was stuck for quite a while, so I think it wasn't his racing so much that they were criticizing.
Yeah, I think that's what they were saying, yeah. Right. The 033 is in an unusual spot on pit road.
He can park how he wants?
I guess.
I'd just like to announce to Jeff Stab now that Brian Yosick is a guest commentator. He's not going to be here every week.
Actually, where is Jeff right now on the track in terms of position?
He is 30th.
So he's, yeah, I guess he is a little bit far down the field at the moment. I was about to try and give him some praise in terms of where he was, but no, he's, well, at least he's still going. Let's put it that way.
He's just keeping it rolling, and I give him all the props in the world. I'm just trying to have fun. That's all.
Yeah, no, I don't think you said anything out of line
I think
here.
everybody's having fun.
I think he listened to me. He jammed on the brakes, and it went straight.
Yeah.
What I hear from the drivers is, go ahead and praise me or criticize me. Just pronounce my name right.
Yeah, his name looks pretty easy unless it's some kind of weird Finnish thing. Or it'd actually be like Stebnu or something.
No, I think we're safe on that one.
I think so.
Lap 222. We're slowly making progress. And we've got 18 cars on the lead lap. Go ahead.
I'm wondering if someone else is going to sneak up and surprise us. coming out from back there. Soup talked about Brightsman. He's back there in 11th. My pick for the race, Matthew Thurnhorst. He has a little bit fresher rubber than Callisto. He's in 10th. Richie Hearn 9th. Smitty back up to 8th.
Well, they are 2x2, and the green flag is out and waving as Vavrovsky gets himself a launch. Callisto in that coveted third position sneaks down into line 35, finding a gap behind him. Callisto wasting no time taking a look onto the inside of Holtzhausen.
Yeah, and he took a very defensive line, drove that thing into that corner deep.
Callisto is in a hurry to try to get himself into a position to try to win this race.
Ryan Worley has disconnected as well.
That was the car that we saw parked a little cockeyed in the pit stall.
Callisto all over the rear bumper of Holzhauser. Can we get a rear shot, Mr. Director? Oh, did we? That's what I get for not looking.
Whoa, here comes Lionel Callisto. Sticks his nose in, down into 1 and 2. He's given room by Derek, but can he get the run off the corner? Not quite. We got a caution.
Put it out. It's the 24.
Ooh, big one. Toma is involved. A lot of cars involved, actually. This started with, it looks like Rob Gall. Oh, Rob Gall was trying to head down to the inside, and Matthew Thunhorst was there when he didn't realize.
Holzhauser on pit road, giving up the second position for fresh tires.
Interesting. When was the last time that he pitted, actually?
125 laps ago.
Yep. So he's about due.
I mean, there's 17 cars still on the lead lap. Oh, he's taking his quick repair, too.
Yeah, that's
all of a sudden, that car looks spanking new again.
70 laps, fresh tire, full tank of gas. Half a pack of cigarettes.
Rob Gall is getting a warning for chopping down and causing the caution.
Is he on a mission from God?
That's right.
So now Callisto, the number 2 car, up to the number 2 position. So if you're a numbers person, there's something there.
Vavrovsky, though, he hasn't given up that lead for a long time. He's now got 140 laps led under his belt. I mean, the next nearest car to have led laps, Derek Holtzhausen at 27. That's how dominant this has been for Trevor.
He's going to have to go 195 laps to get to the checker. I don't think you can do that. But all these yellows, who knows? Yeah. Okay, we're hearing from his crew chief, Tad Granger. We call him Tad the Lone Granger. Says he's good.
I've been corrected. Travis Henderson is the next nearest on laps led at 36. Although Henderson has retired.
Early, yeah.
So your order now that we've had a little bit of a shakeup up at the top. Vavrovsky leads, Callisto second. Barclay back into third again. He was there before he lost it to Callisto. Wayne Hutchison is in fourth. Thomas Lovelady up in the top 5. What a great run he's had. He's
got fresher tires too. He was the one I was talking about. He's got fresher tires than a lot of the cars around him.
Mover of the race right now, Wayne Hutchison has gone from 26 at the drop of the green to 4th.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Oh, we might have a delay at the green. The pace car pulls in. Are we going to be going?
I don't think so.
Oh, yes, we are. Wow, he stacked them up quite a bit there, Vavrovsky. I thought Callisto was going to get a black flag.
Oh, on the high side, the 17 Hutchinson.
He had to give up the position. Lovelady now hunting the bottom, trying to get around Barclay.
Boy, this is our dark horse of the race, that number 60. We keep seeing him here and there, but now he is a front runner.
We're about to have a battle for the lead shaping up. Kalisto got a great run off of turn 2, forced Bobrovsky to take a defensive line into 3. Now he's going to surrender the bottom lane in 1 and 2, but can he push back on the top side? He's going to have, oh God, he tries to scare that wall down out of turn 2, but now I think it's going to be Kalisto getting the bottom back through 3 and 4. Move Lionel Kalisto up to the lead.
Amazing. First lap, he's led all race after coming back from a lap down multiple times. That's phenomenal work by the number 2. Meanwhile, behind them, a battle for third. That's Lovelady now trying to get on the podium, going the long way around to the number 35. Jared Barclay trying to defend, hold on to that spot, get some grip off of the corner, but the 60 with those fresh tires looking incredibly strong. Oh, a little bit of door banging between them. Lovelady trying to pinch him down. That Just Cause number 35 looked like he might have had the run coming out of 2, but starts to lose the momentum. 60 comes back at him at the high side. They've got cars watching from behind. 35 pinched once again. 60, and we've got a
Caution
wreck happening.
Out. It's the 71 and the 11 back there in turns 3 and 4.
Dennis Fusion got tipped by Brian Helm down into that corner. It looks like Bennett was an innocent victim in the checkup, got turned around.
So now, if you're Vivrovsky, do you pit?
Oof. That's a hard one.
I think you don't have anything for Kalisto unless you do, so I guess it's a matter if you want to finish up front or if you want to
And it looks like Kalisto's going to take the defensive and pit with him. No,
faked him out.
But here comes Vivrovsky, Barclay, Hutchinson, Williams. So he's going to cycle out to worst case, maybe 15th.
And the guy who's got to be upset about that is the guy in second, Thomas. I'm going to go Lavelade, as he was going to be on the inside of row 2. Now he's going to start on the outside of row 1.
Yeah.
He was going to be in third, but when Vivrovsky decided to come in, they put him on an even number.
And Vivrovsky has used his quick repair, I believe. No? Nope, that front end's still smashed a little bit.
Is it?
It's still smashed a little.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Well, he must have used it early because that's only his second stop of the race, right?
No, that front has been beaten in since, ironically enough, he turned Kalisto back on something ago.
Marshals have got on the radio. Brian Helm is getting the blame for that last caution, and I believe they said it was his third time. I have to imagine he's going to get a penalty here. Oh, he's been disqualified.
Oh.
Number 40's day is over. And he's disagreeing with the call, obviously, but I don't know. That one looked pretty cut and dry to me.
One of the reasons why
he's disappeared.
Not real crazy about the one fast repair in these instances, because it just turns a 38 car field into a 76 car field.
Yeah, those free repairs can be nice, but then it also allows a lot more cautions. I agree with you, Bill.
Although I don't think Lionel Kalisto would agree with us right now, as he's managed to figure out how to work it to the lead.
It swings both ways. It can give us great racing, and it can give us not so great racing. The free repair giveth, and the free repair taketh.
Keep my eye on Vivrovsky here. I'd just be curious to see his progress.
I want to see that as well. Pace car has peeled off and in. Lionel Kalisto gets the restart for the first time. Nice jump. Thomas Lovelady. Can he sneak down to the inside? Yes, he can. Meanwhile, Breitzman and Hearn fighting it out for the third position.
Wrightsman in that blue car on the high side where he likes to be.
Caution's already out. Rob Gall's involved in it.
31. 31
he was
and the
way
58.
high. Well, they had a 3-wide situation going down into 1.
Oh.
That was with Paulson and Bennett.
You're going to see what I see, and I don't know if you could really argue the blame a whole lot.
He got out into the gray stuff, was trying to bring it back down, didn't realize the 58 was there. Yeah, that was just a difficult situation for all cars involved, I think.
Ethan Moore hitting pit road.
This is kind of good for Trevor Bobrovsky. It lets him pick up a spot or two here on these restarts.
Yeah,
and then
little
they bunch
bit,
back up.
He's running out of time now. 54 laps to go.
This time, Richie Hearns gets the inside of row 2. Lavelade will be stuck on the high side of 1, outside of Callisto.
Got Bennett there swinging by around the outside. We saw him flash through. He's going to get a lap back. So, 17 cars left on the lead lap. We've only lost 1 in quite a while. We're hearing it's a racing incident for the last caution. Marshall's not putting the blame on anyone. If you're just joining us, we have about 50 laps to go here at Five Flags Speedway. You're watching the Snowball Derby presented by Sticker Shack. It's the first round of the Pacific Majors in the 2017 season. And it has proved to be a bit of a controversial one. A lot of drivers that are unhappy. Been quite caution-filled, but with it being short track racing, I can't say that we're too surprised. We expected there to be a fair few out there today.
You know, when Mom and Dad were in a bad mood, I always tried to behave. You would think that with all the penalties that the stewards are handing out, these guys would get the hint.
On a half-mile track and a 500-plus horsepower car, that's easier said than done, Bill. I think we've seen a lot of cases where their behavior is difficult when you're in such close quarters. All right, Callisto has control. Lovelady trying to sneak up, and it bites him. He gets a little bit too close. Here comes Richie Hearn around the inside, and he might be able to get this second position. Can the 60 fight back? Gets the run off the corner, down the back stretch, and he chops him off at the nose. Gets that second place back. Behind the Michael Thompson. Dropping back just a little bit with former second place driver Derek Holthausen trying to come up around the long way. Battle for third as well as Sean Breitzman gets to the inside of Richie Hearn now. Number 70 trying to fight back up around the high side. Not giving up the ghost as the 64 tries to get himself a run off of turn 4. Can't quite do it as the 70 carries his momentum, goes deep into turn 1, but can't bring it off the corner.
35 is loose, and he saves it. I think we're going to stay green.
And Bobrovsky was the big winner on that one. He's going to get 2 for the price of 1.
Wow, let's look at the replay. He got tipped. That was Thunhorse, who nearly turned him around. 35 doing an amazing job keeping the car forward. There we saw the number 30 of Bobrovsky just streaming through the field using this opportunity.
And now up, did we mention on third, did I miss it, that Breitzman has got around Hearn?
You're going to have a battle for the lead shaking up here in a second. Lovelady all over Callisto.
Lovelady and that number 60. has been coming forward and coming forward. Now as he approaches the number 2, can he do what he's been doing? He's trying. He's going to work around that outside line. Doesn't quite get the run. Sneaks back into line behind the number 2. Down into turns 1 and 2. Gets the run off the corner, squares it off. It has his momentum interrupted. Looks to the high side once again. And Thunhorst is getting a black flag for a bump and run.
Serving it now.
Not going to fight that one. Didn't hear anything over the radio from the 98. '60 still all over the back of that Miller Lite machine. Poking and prodding. Trying to find a way through. 40 laps to go now. And he's looking incredibly strong in that black car. Callisto has been fighting a war this race. Got sent to the back after early problems. Went to lap down, got it back, went to lap down again, got it back again, climbed through the field, fought his way up into the lead, and now he has to fend off a charging Thomas Lovelady, who once again has been peeking to the inside, looking around the outside, just can't find a way to carry the momentum past this number 2.
Just all over, but he just can't quite get the hook in the run that he wants. He's trying to kind of diamond 3 and 4 there, but it's just not quite getting him close enough to Callisto.
I think he got very close to the wall on that last exit on the front stretch. Oh, there he goes. He's got a good run coming around the high side. Can he carry the speed? He's just about got it. They're still side by side. This is what the number 60 wanted. He tries to pinch down the number 2. Can the Lionel Callisto keep the momentum off the corner? No, he cannot. The 60 has the speed. We've seen him do this around the outside of other cars. Can he do it on Lionel Callisto? He's got the momentum off of 1. He leads this lap, and the 60's got it.
And clear. Power
Unreal.
Power move right there from Thomas Lovelady in that number 60.
That is going to be hard to pick at the drive of the race. Lionel Callisto for coming back, or Lovelady for just working the field on the high side.
And Lovelady is not. It's not like that's been not been a cakewalk for him. He started 18th tonight.
And here's 2 words we haven't said all race: lap traffic, as they're beginning to come up on some guys.
Well, how's that going to change
Paulson.
the dynamic here? And I'm keeping my eye back here on Vavrovsky. Oh, caution is out! You had to jinx it, Bill.
Yep.
That was Rob Gall. Don't back it up, Gall. Rob. Everyone avoids him. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That was the slowest wreck avoidance I've ever seen. And unfortunately, looks like Ryan Toma got the worst of it. Just T-bones the number 31. You're going to see it here on the replay. This is going to be on the backstretch. Let's see what happens to Gall here. Does he get some help?
Brian Bennett
doesn't work around here.
Yeah, it looks like he gets hit from the inside, and then 24's got nowhere to go.
And then he grabs the gear and puts it in reverse.
Let's watch it from one more angle here. This is going to be onboard Toma. Starts to erupt in front of him. Goes high, and it's no good. It's back now live. So the order up at the top as it's changed now. Thomas Lovelady, your new leader. He's got 5 laps led under his belt. Lionel Callisto, he was up there for 29, but it was not to be. Let's see if he can get it back, though. Sean Breitzman, he's up into 3rd place. He's another driver who's been working that middle to high line, and it's been going well. Richie Hearn. I remember hearing Richie talk on the forums last season. Said he's the type of oval driver that just takes it easy in the first half, waits for the race to come to him, and then it's go time in the final stages. Well, look at this. That number 70, despite being bumped around, he's sitting pretty in 4th. And then Michael Thompson, his teammate, number 314, he is rocked up to the top 5. You know, I was trying to figure out before the race, Bill, if Richie came up through the ranks of short track racing. We know that he's a real world driver up at the pro level. Wonder if that's really coming in handy here.
I'm not sure, but if memory serves, he was in the IRL when it was in its infancy. So that usually a lot of those drivers came up that way.
Came up through open wheel USAC, quarter mile tracks, ovals, and different stuff like that. So he's got some experience just turning left.
Wanted to see what he can do in these final stages. We're under 30 laps to go now. They are getting too wide once again. Callisto not where he wants to be, starting in that second position. Brightsman probably seeing that number 2 car and just licking his chops, knowing that he could sneak up into his spot. Pace car peels off, waiting on Lovelady to go. He checks him up quite a bit.
Oh boy.
But Lionel's got a clear line down into 2, and he skips into that second position nicely.
Oh, Vavrovsky gets turned off of turn 2. But it's below the apron. He's not going to get. He's not
no
going to
caution.
Caution.
Let's look at the replay.
Oh,
that was with the stack up happening. A bunch of cars. He got into the back of the number 4, and the number 17 punted him, turned him around. Oh my goodness. So now back live. Callisto in second, Brightsman in third. Hearn looking to try and get past that number 64. He's very close behind him. Down to 25 laps to go now.
Lovelady holding a very, very nice wheel off of turn 2. That car just looks incredibly stable. He's running about half a lane higher than Callisto, too.
I wonder if the track has evolved and that's just the better line now.
It very well could be. I mean, maybe, with these open setups, maybe these guys have some developed in there. Some you can really kind of control how the car handles. So maybe he spent some testing time running that lane and a half off the bottom and see how he liked it. Maybe dialed the car in for him.
Knew that maybe the track would have a lot of rubber down towards the end of the race and it could be beneficial.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely through 3 and 4, he's about half a lane higher. Look at Holzhausen coming back.
Oh, wow, that's a name we haven't seen in a while, but was definitely a front runner. He's caught up behind Michael Thompson and Richie Hearn, but these guys are getting stacked up behind Brightsman. He's the cork in the bottle. Meanwhile, as now we hit 280, you know what time it is, Brian?
It's 20 to go.
I'm going to hand it to Bill. Bill, what time is it?
It's time to boogie, baby. Let's get this party started.
Right now, the main dancer is Thomas Lovelady up in the lead.
I set that up for you guys. Purposely blew it.
Should have known it. Should have known it. Oh, but look at this. We've got a pass for 5th. Holzhausen has managed to get by Thompson, or has he? Thompson trying to come back around the outside. We got a caution.
Is out. And I think the position is going to go to Holzhausen. Ray Partridge not happy with the driver of the 44.
It's
says, can you watch it? He ran me up into the wall, Partridge was saying of Chappelle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that definitely looked one way.
This started coming
There's
at
the
it
telling angle right here.
I'm going to have to agree with the Partridge here on this one.
Well, yeah, it came across.
Huh.
I almost wonder, though, if it's more of a racing incident, because Partridge was he wasn't totally up as high as he could be. I don't know. That one's a hard call for me, actually.
Well, I don't really think much penalty is going to have to be assessed if you look at that car right there.
Yeah, Chappelle's a little bit roughed up now.
Wave around for Matthew Thurnhorst.
I really don't see Callisto getting around Lovelady.
I'm going to have to agree on that. He's going to need fresher tires. We didn't see him threatening at all on the 60 on that last green flag run.
And they did call that a racing deal.
So, our order now, Lovelady in first, Callisto still in second. Brightsman has managed to hold on to third despite some pressure. Richie Hearn is in fourth. Derek Holtzhausen has moved himself up into the top 5. Remember, he was in second place for a number of laps.
I wonder if the race marshals get paid per incident. They've made a lot. They've had a good day if that's the case.
And Holtzhausen actually getting a congratulations from Smitty on his pass. He was pretty happy with how that went down, despite losing a position.
Well, Brian, Callisto has tried every trick in the book to start on the outside. He's tried to time it and jump it, and Lavilade has had everything. He's got him covered every time.
Yeah, I mean, really, the leader is in ultimate control there because it's simple. You just dictate when the race goes. Callisto can't beat Callisto can't beat Lovelady to the line because then he's going to get a black flag and really undo all of that work.
And we've seen that happen on broadcast before. Drivers getting black flagged for jumping around the outside of the leader on oval restarts. Meanwhile, pace car now peels off. Lovelady in control once again. What can Callisto do?
Oh,
nothing in this case, and here comes
Checked
Brightsman.
up the top lane is what he did.
No gap for Callisto.
Look at the 64.
Brightsman gets by.
Yeah, Brightsman gets by into second, and look at behind him. Oh, contact! Richie Hearn
Hearn
went
turned
sideways.
around. Whoa! Can we watch the blimp view of this incident? Look at the car control of everybody behind Hearn. You'll see Smitty get into him. Now watch everybody behind here. And they fan out, and nobody has incidents. Just phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm surprised that went yellow. I guess because Hearn's got perpendicular with the track there for a few seconds. But he straightened to back out as well.
Credit to those drivers up in the top 15.
Well, now it'll be interesting to see if Michael Smith gets a little slap on the hand for that one.
And he is one of the admins, or at least he was for a while. I think maybe they removed him. That was long ago at the start of the race, though. Yeah.
Yep.
27's getting... Is it a warning? Or which is it?
Oh, no, not a warning.
Oh, EOL.
Yeah.
The number 27's pulling low, letting everybody by. It's an end-of-line penalty for that Alliance Racing machine. That's gotta hurt.
Okay. Now we have a little new dynamic going on. We know that Brightsman is a little better on the high side than maybe Callisto. Let's see maybe this time if the 64 has something for the leader.
Actually, this is a fair point. We've had the 64 working the high side. We have the hit 60 working the high side. So are they both going to fight for the high side if they get into a battle?
I just think the leader's car is really hooked up right now.
Oh, I agree. Lovelady has been schooling these guys at the end of this race.
We're at 8 laps to go, gentlemen.
Joe, you're going to feel so foolish when Thomas comes in for an interview and you find out it's Lavilla I'm telling you.
We'll find out if he comes in. This is a newcomer. Actually, what club is he with?
The West, from your part of the country.
Hey, there we go. West Club representing. All right. As we're now 2x2 once more. Roof pace car peels off into the pits. Lovelady has control of the field. What can Brightsman do in that second position? Callisto tries to keep his nose in. He could just still do it. 64 trying to work that high side. They're still side by side for second place. This is exactly what the number 60 wants. For these two to fight. Still side by side going through 3 and 4. Nobody given a quarter. I think the number 2 might just have it if he can get the run off of turn 2. They got a lapped car staying low. Who is that?
It's 58.
Stephen Paulison. He's going to get all the way down to the apron. He's going to take it into the pits. I don't blame him there.
Bob Beltrami, quick shout out up to the 6th spot. Started 35th, last chance qualifier, and he's hanging on.
Nice job by the 14. 64 tried to stick his nose in on Callisto for that second spot. Nothing doing there. Behind him, Michael Thompson under threat from Derek Holzhausen, who's coming on strong now that the car is coming in with a bit of a run. 4 laps to go.
It's all smooth sailing for Lovelady, I think.
Another lap car is working his way past Stephen Paulson once again. He must have come back out of the pits. I think he's just going to exit. Oh, it blew his engine.
Oh boy.
We are past the point of no return.
Yeah.
Now he can get down.
It's parked now. And he exits.
He exits
Smart.
in time. All right, we're staying green. Next flag is going to be the last one that we see before the checkers, and it's the white flag. No more yellows as Thomas Lovelady has 1 to go. He started this race in 18th. We didn't notice him at all for most of this race, and finally when he came to the fore, he showed us what you can do on short tracks. The number 60, Thomas Lovelady, is going to be your winner. Lionel Callisto manages to come home in second position. Sean Brightsman, great showing for the 64, 19th to 3rd. Oh, we had some rough times with these cautions, but we got some great racing in the end there. And what a run by the number 60 as he starts to celebrate with a victory lap. After 300 laps here around 5 Flag Speedway, we're going to take a short break. We'll give you post-race interviews with hopefully our podium, including Thomas, to figure out how to pronounce his last name. As well, we got the upcoming races on our screen between the breaks, so stick around for that. Don't go away because we've got the unofficial results. Stick around.
Hi, my name is Donovan Johns. I'm the owner-operator of Bolton Vapes here in Boise, Idaho. We opened our first location inside the Boise Town Square Mall in February of 2013. And our second location we opened up on the corner of Fairview and Milwaukee in May of 2013. One of the things that we specialize here is in the entry-level and mid-level range hardware and equipment for beginning vapors to really get the concept of vaping down and to feel confident in their education levels so they're not going to be inundated or overwhelmed with some of the higher end mods. One of the things we also do here is we have the build your own kits, which you can pick any of our entry-level, mid-level batteries and tanks and assemble it into your own kit so you can take home exactly what it is you're looking for when you leave the store.
Welcome back to Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida, here on the Global Sim Racing channel. And of course, we just witnessed the Snowball Derby presented by Sticker Shack here, the first round of the Pacific Majors in 2017. In the end, we were all taken aback because we didn't expect Thomas Lovelady, who came from 18th on the grid, to first and took the win today in the main event. Lionel Callisto tried his best to hold him off. He started in 7th. The number 2 finished in 2nd. Meanwhile, Sean Brightsman, another driver who seemed to come to the fore later on in the race, he finished in 3rd with Michael Thompson behind him in 4th. Derek Holtzhausen, he was in 2nd for so much of the race. He looked like he could maybe try and fight for podium, but in the end, he could only get 5th after some trouble set him back. Jared Barclay, he came home in the 6th position with Bob Beltrami, also going from a barely sneaking in with the last chance qualifier, started 35th. He finished 7th. Great job. David Williams, he went from 21st to 8th in the end of the day. Brian Bennett finished in 9th. And rounding out the top 10, Bill, it's Brian Barnes.
All the next 10 finished on the lead lap. Nick Hunt in 11th position. Wayne Hutchinson right behind him. Baker's dozen spot goes to Chris Pence. Trevor Varun-Varosky, he was up in front for a long time, had to take a late pit stop, never could get back up again, 14th position. Matthew Thunhorst in the 15th spot, all ribbons and curls, a man that I watched, and I'm glad we don't have to interview because I would just be here saying, Richie Hearn, former Indy driver, racing in 16th, a nice run from him. He was up front a lot of the way. Ray Partridge had some tough breaks today, going to finish in 17th. Smitty, Michael Smith in 18th position, right behind him, Ethan Moore. And I correct myself, not all of them finished on the lead lap, 3 laps down in 20th, Taft Baldwin. Brian?
21st to Rob Gall, 22nd to Mike Franklin, Joshua Wolf in 23rd, 24th to Stephen Paulison, Jeff Stabnow keeping on, swimming on the track and a finish in 25th, 26th to Brandon Chappelle, Dennis Fusion in 27th, 28th to Ryan Toma, Brian Helm 29th, and 30th to James Wyckoff.
31st is going to be the car that we were a little bit sad to see fall by the wayside, Travis Henderson, who started on pole. Mark Waltz is going to finish in 32nd with Ryan Worley in 33rd. Clark Archer came home 34th, Michael Lane 35th, and Brandon Trossel in 36th with William Fletcher in 37th. First up, we're going to talk to our winner. We're going to settle a debate here as we bring Thomas into the booth. And our first question to the winner is not about the race, but Thomas, tell us how to pronounce your last name.
Lavelade, right?
No, it's actually Lovelady.
We were right. Okay, we got it settled. Thomas Lovelady, congratulations. 18th to 1st. Now, one thing that really struck us is you didn't really seem to be a front runner in the first half of the race. Were you intentionally kind of hanging back and waiting for the race to come to you?
Just really trying to stay out of trouble. I knew it was going to be somewhat of a mess trying to get through everybody, so just trying to stay as clean as I could. Trying to stay on the bottom, but had to go to the top a few times.
And speaking of the top, you made some incredible moves around the high side and the latter half of the race. Did you set up the car for the high side intentionally?
Honestly, never really ran the top. Just went up there once the bottom got crowded up, went to the top, and it seemed to work out pretty well. So I knew I was pretty good up there throughout the race, and then it presented an opportunity at the end and decided to just go for it.
Oh, man, that makes that even more impressive. We thought that maybe you had set up the car for that and it was finally coming to the fore at the end of the race. That just is incredible stuff. The other question that I have for you, have you ever run short track racing before? Is this your first time? Are you a regular in these super late models?
I actually grew up racing circle track stuff. Started racing pretty young in Las Vegas. Born and raised in Vegas, live in Vegas. But raced out at the bull ring out there. Ran super late models for a few years with a few of my buddies, and yeah, quite a bit of fun. Great racetrack, Five Flags. I've always wanted to race there. Snowball Derby, of course, is epic super late model race. So pretty cool to take it away.
Well, Thomas, I have to say once again, congratulations, and I think that experience has really come in handy for you there today, and we look forward to seeing you on the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Pleasure running with you guys, and thanks for doing the broadcast.
I was Thomas Lovelady, Bill, and, and we're going to talk to the second place driver who looked like another person who was able to try and overcome some hardships to maybe get himself a good finish. Lionel Callisto is going to talk to Bill.
Lionel, do you have a copy?
Yes, I do. How you doing?
Oh man, I've seen you do this race before. You know, we could talk about your race, but it's a short post-race show. We could go on for 20 minutes talking about all the things you went through. When did you take your fast repair?
Oh, I accidentally took one really early on in the race. Accidentally, when I was trying to get all the damage repaired, I just forgot to check it. But it was bad.
That didn't seem, because we've seen you do this before. I've seen you run cars just a piece of junk for 75% of the race, and you get your fast repair, you're there. My goodness, I guess all those yellows, did you ever get more than one lap down?
I think I got down to 2. I don't remember, but I just remember being lapped down. Just dealing with the black flags and the EOLs didn't help either. It was pretty interesting. It was an interesting race, up and down, but it's still fun.
Yeah, let's find when everybody finally got to the end of the race, which seemed like it took a long time to get there. You really didn't have anything for Thomas Lovelady. He had his car was hooked up.
Yeah, he has fresher tires than me. I wish I would have pitted a little later, but I think that was probably the best strategy. Just pit, get as fresh tires as I can to the end. But it was a great part on his pit a little later than I did. And it really benefited him later on in the race. Yeah, there's no way I could keep up. I was overdriving the car too, and I was burning up my tires really quick.
Yeah, I wouldn't hit yourself too hard about the pit strategy. We saw drivers come in early and go for tires, and we never saw them again. They got swallowed up by the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, I was thinking about pitting when the 30 car went in. I was about to go in, but then the last second, if I would have pitted, I probably would have got in the wreck later on. So I just had to play it safe and try to hold out for the lead.
Yeah, that's Borowski's one of those guys who was up there all day, and then when he went in, and that was the end of him. Hey, well, we know that you're good on anything you race, and my goodness, second place, you got to be happy with that to start the season. So good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Lionel Little Train Callisto, second place today. I think that's a good start for him, Joe.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if he's going to be a threat for the championship this year. He's always there and thereabouts, and if he could keep this good run up, then who knows what we'll see come the end of 2017. Next up, we're going to talk to third place, another driver that came to the fore at the end, and Brian is going to talk to Sean Breitzman.
Sean, kind of an up and down race for you. Soup and I were amazed that you were making the high side work, and you started 19th and you finished third. Tell me about your night, man.
We had a pretty good setup on the Walls Beard Co. Chevy Camaro. I liked the high side. I could get going. Just depended who was down in the low lane. We had a run in with David Williams. Sorry to that, David. Yeah, we kind of started off just trying to ride around and let the laps click off, and ended up running okay. And then we had to drop to the back for the incident, and then I just tried to save my tires as much as I could. Pitted when I thought I might be okay, and run from there.
Sounds like a solid plan. As the race seemed to move on, it just seemed like it was an act of attrition throughout the night. And when did you kind of find yourself clear of all the chaos and the madness, and you think, hey, I'm up here in the top 5? Did you ever think you had a shot at it?
No, not completely had a shot at it. I felt pretty decent if we could get a long run. But of course, with cautions breed cautions. Lionel and Thomas were both quick, so a lot of people up in the top 10 were quick. So once he got to the top 10, things kind of leveled out a little bit, and people were driving a little bit smarter. There were still some incidents, but it kind of leveled out once he got in there.
Well, solid plan still, and like I said, 19th to 3rd, can't really argue with that a whole lot. Anybody you'd kind of like to give a special shout out to here before we send you on your way?
I'd just like to shout out the whole Dog Bear Racing team, Malls Beard Co., the Northwest Truck Series, Sarge's Place. Thank you guys for broadcasting this race. Thanks to the Pacific Majors group and teams, admins for setting this stuff up.
So, all right. Hey, we're going to get you on your way here. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Yeah, that's about that. So, looking forward to Daytona, and we'll probably catch you there.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
That was our 3rd place finisher, Sean Breitzman. And with that, we're going to close up after a long race today. And of course, we want to thank a few people before we go. Of course, thanks to Sticker Shack, who presented us this race, and Volt Vape sponsoring the Pacific Majors again this season. Thanks to Mike Willett, who put all the hard work into putting this all together. This is sometimes a bit of a thankless job for him, as we've seen with the marshals today, not getting the best of reception from some drivers. Thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcast. You can see those listed on your screen. Additional thanks to our musical contributors, Eric Echolm and Casey Lalonde, whose music you can also find at the websites listed. Thanks to the team today, Bill, Brian, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at /GlobalSimRacingChannel. Next race, going to be the usual opener for this series, but it's bumped back to 2nd this time. 2.4 hours of Daytona. That'll be Sunday, January 29th at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. If you've never seen a Predator race in the Pacific Majors, tune in for that. That's going to be a great time. We also have upcoming races for other series on screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.